measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, Survive the Spin, Effie Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Mia in the Shire, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, J Mel's 24, Unimento, Iron 26, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Harry Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links to Patreon are below this video. And with that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
On TV, which is like, and it used to be part of the Discovery Channel intro, where it's going across the canyon. And at that time, I didn't know about CGI, but now when I look back now, I think that might have been CGI, because that would be a massive challenge, wouldn't it? Go across the canyon.
Yeah,
on a tightrope.
The great woman, the famous high wire artist, has a history marked by tragedy, with a major accidents, including 1962 Detroit Pyramid. I didn't know about that one. All right. That killed 2 performers. And the 1978 fall of patriarch Carl Wallenda from a wire in San Juan, Puerto Rico, caused by wind and improper rigging.
Oh, improper rigging. Yeah, because that doesn't help. You know, because everything that's all maths, isn't it? Tension and that. Torsional strength, it's got to be correct. That way, you know, you can survive it. But
that was 123. Carl Wallenda, the troops found that fell from a 123-foot high wire between 2 hotels in San Juan, Puerto Rico. 123 feet to his death. That sucks.
Yeah, sorry, man. That's not good.
I mean, just have a net underneath you.
Yeah, but that takes away from the excitement and the thrill and the danger. You see, do you know what I mean? That's the thing. But I think they should put the net right. Like maybe 10 floors from 10 floors up, and there, just in case he does fall. That's okay. That's fair, isn't it? You know. But no net at all. That's the thrill, isn't it? No net. Just like, what's his name? Von Gardner. He died, didn't he? In his micro Lite, wasn't it? Yeah, he crashed. Power glider.
Cool.
Yeah, Von Gardner, you know, the Red Bull jumper. This year, he died this year.
Oh, he died? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's gone, yeah. In one of those microlight type engine-powered gliders. Hand glider. You know the hand glider? Engine-powered hand glider. Yeah, he died in one of those. He lied when he said he could see the curvature of the earth. Couldn't wait to get those words out, could he? Couldn't wait to get those words out.
Yeah, he was on Planet New Orleans. I woke up to my turtles frozen under the water in the pond.
Well, are they still okay, alive?
Yeah, I broke the water and took them out. But how long could they hold their breath?
Yeah. I wonder how they do with your fluorinated water. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not good for them, surely.
No, I don't use it. I just let whatever water fills up with the rain.
Oh, okay. All right. That's better for them, I suppose.
I got like one of them kiddie pools, the plastic. Got a big blue kiddie pool. Got
Oh, yeah.
rocks and stuff in there, and I got to get it more box turtle friendly. Got to put some dirt and stuff in there.
Yeah.
But I got it surrounded by water, so basically their habitat is in the center. I got a bunch of rocks set up like caves, and I throw dirt in there on the rocks, and then I got the whole thing is surrounded by water.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's why I don't keep fish, because the water usage just goes up. You've got to keep cleaning the water all the time. Clean the water out, and then you got all your filters and that in there. So, no, it's just
I don't have no filters.
cost, small cost.
Well, they're not water turtles. They can go in either or. It's not like a sea turtle. I've had one of those where they predominantly are in the water, and that I needed a filter and stuff like that. He used to come on the rocks just to bask under the UV light.
Yeah.
But these guys, these are box turtles, so they're right in the middle. They could live on either or.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I mean, obviously, I knew they could live in either or, but I think that tap water and that's not good for them. They're not going to last long in tap water, are they? As opposed to ocean, salt.
No, these are fresh water. What's happening? Discord on the waves yet?
No. Well, that went dead, didn't it? Everyone's asleep, maybe.
Oh, all right, we're connected though. All right. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good. It's pissing it down, so I got the day off. Just taking it easy.
So today's video that we'll be covering... Oh, not hot enough. Hold on. Let's try that again. There we go. Today's video that we'll be covering comes to us courtesy of Len giving me £100. So thank you, Len. We will be covering an anti-flat earther dealing with a semi-anti-flat earther / normie called AsmonGold. And AsmonGold is reacting to Sabine Hosselenfelder and her suggestion that flat earthers are dangerous. So we will be covering that on today's live show. But for the fact that Len gave me £100, I would not be covering this video.
I told you, Len, money walks, baby.
In sincerity, thank you very much for the £100. I really appreciate it.
More than welcome.
That's that old saying, money walks and money talks and BS walks. See, but the thing is, Nathan, when we send our little messages that you have reviewed the show, hopefully some of the people that are his Patreons or watch his show will click and follow us. Come here and find out who this Nathan Oakley guy is. That's the desire.
That was a weird sensation.
Comments today, so I do expect maybe one or two.
Well, if there's 4 million, you hope that you get at least one, right?
Sorry, I see them, and sometimes I get that knee-jerk reaction to like comment, like, something. I try to put only things that are true and that I can like explain or and back up. And lately they've been acting as if they're ignorant, right? And they're insistent on, well, where do you have any flat earth measurements, and they keep saying it, and they keep saying it as if they know that any measurement that they can make will need a flat earth. And I have a feeling, and they feel insidious, they feel like plants, and so I invite them.
Yeah, you sniff them out right away. Who's sincere, who's not. You don't give the people that ain't sincere any time. I got a new approach now. My new approach is going to be, you want answers? Nathan Oakley, 1980, Flat Earth Debate. Here's the show. Come pay a visit.
Does anyone have an X or Twitter account by any chance? I haven't used it, so I can't be asked to sign up just to post the link to AsmonGold's page, but if anyone does, that would be helpful.
I think I do. What, a Twitter? Your X?
Yeah.
What do I have to do?
Just post today's live show on his page, if that's cool.
Let me see if I can figure it out. I very rarely go there.
I only signed up for X years ago just to promote a band, but that's long gone. No passwords or anything for that account anymore.
Sorry to interrupt.
By the way, whoever was in Discord and I was cutting them off, my bad.
I just want to check this mic works. It's for a purchaser on eBay that's just bought it called Terry Arnold. I just want to check it works. I know it's working. I tested it, but I just want to check it hasn't broken since sitting in its box for a month. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Yep, jolly
warm,
good.
A bit bassy.
I'm quite close to it. Yeah, it's proximity effect. It's a great mic, actually. Sad to see this one go. Anyway, Sontronics STC2X for Terry Arnold. Terry, this is your microphone.
Yeah, I felt bad for cutting off Discord. My fault.
No, that was me cutting you off. I've got 5 minutes to get this boxed up, and I just wanted to make sure. I like to test the expense. Anything over £100, I like to test it before it goes. I know I've tested it. I know it works. I've put a video up on every single advert for the mics that I'm selling. But once someone's actually paid for it, I want to, make absolutely certain that they're not going to get it and be disappointed. So I check it before it goes. That's what I'm doing. That was me interrupting you rather than the other way around. Anyway, we might be a couple of minutes late. I'm going to get this boxed up.
That's okay. Nathan, are you back to selling mics again then? Not that's a bad
I'm
thing.
clearing them all out. I mean, I've got to get rid of them so that I'm not doing them when it comes to me going through the book with a fine-tooth comb.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, so you're just selling the loose stock. Okay.
Loose stock, I think there's probably about 70 left, is there, Nathan?
What was that? I didn't hear it.
I was just saying, I'm sure he's got at least 70 mics left.
Okay, he's busy. We gotta keep the conversation going for 3 minutes.
Well, yeah, I heard someone talking about the measurements just now. Did you measure it properly? Did you measure it? Yeah, measure it twice and cut once, yeah?
Well, to measure, they'll need a horizontal plane. So that's flat. They're never able to get off the flat part.
It's right. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's unavoidable. You need air to breathe. That's how much you need a flat earth. You know, everybody needs a flat earth to exist. Okay, you don't exist on a ball. You need a flat earth. That's where you currently are living on at the moment. Without it, you wouldn't be existing. Yeah, you know.
I try to, what is it? I try to hammer into the conversation that, you know, horizontal can parallel and extend, but it can't bend or it wouldn't be horizontal.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's flat and it's going to be flat and you don't get away from it.
It's constantly horizontal, ladies and gentlemen. The horizontal constant. That's what it is. No matter where you look, you will always find the horizontal constant. You'll be surprised where it lurks. It lurks around everywhere. Even in your kitchen cabinets, you've got a constant horizontal there. Otherwise, all your cups and plates and saucers in your dresser would all be down on one side of your dresser. Yeah, that horizontal constant, man. It's everywhere. Your cooker is horizontally constant all the time. Needed a flat earth to be like that. Your bathroom.
Yeah, Len wanted to let you know that I posted on X tagging AsmonGold as well as Sabine Hossenfelder that there is going to be a live show in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, because I couldn't figure it out.
Good stuff, Arthur. Thank you.
He's also got a YouTube.
Who, AsmonGold? We all know that. I know you're talking about me. Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's obvious. My fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got about 5 minutes into the video before I was like, oh man, I cannot do this any longer.
The first sentence pretty much triggered Nathan when he had a brief look.
Yeah, I watched that video.
Was the Hundes?
Is he going to critique it today then? Is he going to do it today?
So did Nathan agree after the $100 or before it?
I think the bribe helped. The bribe's the only reason he's doing it.
Oh, okay, that's going to be good. That's going to be good today then. Let's hope he keeps his cool.
I told you, Len, once you said I paid him, I said, oh, then he's doing it for sure. Money talks, BS walks.
Yeah, he's got to do it because that guy, that woman or whatever, is that a CGI woman? Or is that a real woman speaking?
No, it's Hossenfelder. We've done many of her videos.
Okay. Horrible woman.
She's a pseudoscientist.
Yeah, horrible woman.
Well, she just don't know. She was instructed in science, but she was really instructed in pseudoscience.
Yeah.
If she just goes back to the basics, she might get it.
You took the words out of my mouth, Neil. Yeah, because it is common sense. So she's got to slow down and then digest what we are telling you, right? Because if we ask you, show me where you measured this Earth, and you found it to be curving at 8 inches per mile squared, she's going to say, no, you haven't done that, have you? Right. You're just like the rest of us, so slow down.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking if she just understands that science has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth, and that she's in a category error, and that what she thinks is science is actually pseudoscience. If she revisits science, she may understand where she's in error.
Yeah, no, she's too far up these elites' fucking asses to do that. Excuse my French. way up there. Too far up there, man, that woman. You can tell. It's going to be a painful
Well, then
extraction.
that's where it goes to money talks for her. Going to affect her money.
Yeah. Because it's too far. That would be a painful extraction for her. That's better. Just combed my hair. Less than an hour to go, and I'll be into Tuesday morning. Wow, it's fast over here in Japan, man. Fast. Australia is already into Tuesday morning already, I think. 1 hour ahead of me, some parts of Australia.
Something horrible happened in Australia, a terrorist attack.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, unfortunately, that did happen. Anti-Semitism is on the increase.
Hats off to the guy that took the gun off one of them. Took a lot of balls for that.
Yeah. Was it all staged, though? Here we go. See what I mean?
And that's the whole thing. How do we know?
Yeah.
Like, we need to know somebody that knows it happened.
Yeah, that's the
Because
problem.
we don't know what the media is putting out, you know?
Right.
That's why I feel like we're at a disadvantage, because how do we know what's legit and what's not?
Yeah, that's right, Neil. That's exactly what I said to my students today. Fake news. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, we don't know if that's real or not. I mean, look at the Ukraine war, yeah? I said, picture this, yeah? We were all fighting COVID, fighting it. Let's make sure we don't die. All countries working together to fight this thing. And then as soon as it's finished, Ukraine and Russia are fighting each other. Now, that does not make any sense at all, does it? So you save yourself from COVID only to die by a bullet. Really? It's just ridiculous.
Let's just be careful about what we talk about, because I don't know what they could strike you for. So when you start to sell, let's focus on flat Earth.
Well, it all happened on a flat Earth anyway. They needed a flat Earth for all those shenanigans to happen anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Any shenanigan you're thinking about required a horizontal constant. Without it, it wouldn't have happened. It couldn't happen. There you go. My little damage control there.
Never heard of it.
Well, I don't know, because sometimes I'm saying things and Nathan's like, what are you saying? I'm like, what? I didn't know. So I find if I keep it to flat Earth, I can't get in trouble.
Yeah, whatever you said happened on a flat Earth anyway.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, whatever you said happened on a flat Earth anyway. So even if you stray, you're straying horizontally. You're straying into that horizontal constant. That's all you're doing. All action on life leads to flat Earth, ladies and gentlemen. All action. Yes. I'm sure the animals think we humans are dumb, thinking we're on a spinning ball hurtling through the universe. And they're meant to be looking after us. They're our custodians. Look at them. I also actually got some of my Japanese students, the adult ones, to understand the difference between knowing something and believing something. Yeah. So how long have you been believing that sort of thing? You know, how long did you believe the Earth was a globe? I said 48 years. That was a mistake, wasn't it? Because I didn't check it. So when you believe something, what you're saying is that you're carrying information that you haven't confirmed or validated. That's not knowledge. Okay? Yeah, that's a very weak position, actually. All right. So either I know or I don't know. That's it. There's no in-betweens. I believe nothing.
Something must be going wrong.
No, he said he's gonna
I'm
box
just boxing
it.
something up. I won't
Probably
be
run out. Oops. There you go. That box must be putting up a fight.
Yeah, it's a big mic.
Yeah.
I knew a guy named Big Mike.
Iron Mike Tyson. How you doing, everybody?
Hello, hello.
Big shout out to the guys in the flip side. Big shout out to them. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
How are you?
Oh, very well, thanks.
I think he was
Great
asking
weekend.
me.
How was your weekend?
I think he was asking me, actually. I'm all right. Thank you for asking. Busy. That's why we started 10 minutes late. So I was just boxing up a mic for a guy that's starting a studio, and he happened to buy a couple of mics off me that I'd accepted a price on. And then he was like, what else have you got that would be good for a studio? I want to record drums, guitars, and vocals. I'm like, I got this. And he bought all of it. So I'm like, okay. I was slightly overwhelmed just before the show started. And I like to get it all done, otherwise I'll just forget things. So I like to do them immediately. So even if the live show's starting, I just want to get them out the door so that I'm not disappointing literally paying customers. So there we go. That's me. Today we're covering AsmonGold. So I couldn't remember his name when it came up on Friday, but the other guy's called Penguin Z that I was trying to refer to. I was like, which one of the two is it? Now, one of them's a bit of a grebo. That is to say, he wouldn't be offended by me calling him a bit of a grebo. He's acutely aware of the fact that he's surrounded by what are they called? Red Bull cans. You know what I mean? You know what you are. Whereas Penguin Z's less of a grebo. But they're both very similar in terms of what they do. So I couldn't figure out which of the two we were going to be covering. So there we go. We're going to be covering AsmonGold. Straight off the cuff. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. I got a chance to watch the first 25 seconds of it, which immediately irritated me. But for the fact that I'm being paid to cover this by one of my supporters, I wouldn't be covering this video. It's just so far removed from what I want to do currently, it's untrue. But what did strike me immediately is that as a consequence of us being censored, the general normie, let's suggest, although he's a YouTuber, that AsmonGold is your average Joe, right? He's not, but you know what I'm getting at. He's not in this pond specifically covering flat earth or anti-flat earth or anti-globe. So he's, from that perspective, a normie. Well, what's he going to look at flat earth? He's going to one of our detractors. He's going to an anti-flat earther. That would be Sabine Hosselandwalder, to get his information from. It's like, so you're going to the government paid controlled opposition for the narrative for you to agree with. It's like, seriously, you're going to cuck to the opposition to this subject and react to that. Why? Well, because we won't be found. All you can find now is our anti-flat counterparts. That's all you'll find. So Sabine's what he's got to cover. Now, back in the day, 5-10 years ago, you'd find one of our videos and you'd respond to us. Now, we're so far down the list, so heavily censored, that you'll find only the mainstream rhetoric. That is to say, the opposition to what a flat earther is. You've got Sabine telling him what a flat earther is. How the bleeding hell would she know? She's not one. But she's going to take it upon herself to tell her audience what a flat earther is. How fricking dare you? You're not one. It'd be as absurd as her telling the world what it's like to be black. She's not black. So how dare she infer that she'd know what it's like to be black? She doesn't. She isn't. How dare she? That's my first reaction. If you want to know what flat earth is, come and talk to me. Don't talk to my opponent about what I am. That's an outrage. So that's straight off the cuff that annoyed me. Why go to Sabine to be told what a flat earther is and what a flat earther believes in? She's not one. Any comments?
Well, Sabine doesn't offer anything in that video. It's all stereotypes and just
Straw man.
beast of nonsense attacks. There's no globe proof in that video whatsoever.
Yeah, zero. It's just ad homs and straw manning us all the way. I saw it to the end, so you'll enjoy it. I hope.
No, I won't. I want to be covering normies. Like I say, I've been paid to do this. So I've received 100 crisp British pounds for covering this video. And as Neil put it in the pre-show, money talks and bullshit walks. In this case, I'll cover the video because I'm being paid to. But it doesn't mean I won't be irritated with it. Before we've even started, I'm irritated with it. Because this guy wants to know about flat earth. So he's going to go to somebody who's responding to flat earthers, telling you what a flat earther is, and suggesting by stereotype how we think what we think. It's outrageous. Anyway, any other comments before we get into it? What I will do, though, is I'll take it easy on AsmonGold, right? Now, that is at Len's suggestion, the guy who paid me £100. So, from that perspective, he's like, look, this guy's not a flatty. He's not an anti-flatty. And in terms of him responding to what he gets as a search-presented algorithmic representation of flat earth, that's not his fault. And I agree, right? It's not AsmonGold's fault that when he goes, oh, I'll be interested in covering a flat earth video today. Let's see what's out there to cover. You do a search and you get this. You get Simon Dan, you get Dave McKeegan, you get Craig. You get everything but flat earth presented to you. You only get the controlled opposition narratives. That's all you'll get. Not me. Now, if you came to me, AsmonGold, it would be a very, very short conversation. I'd say it's not that serious, mate. Earth's just measured flat in all circumstances and without exception. Go and look at how Earth is actually measured, and you'll find out exactly how flat it is, because that's how it's measured. Now, that measurement of a flat Earth isn't limited to me saying Earth's flat. It's also the basis of your globe belief. To create a globe for you and Sabine to believe in, you must measure Earth flat. Ergo, if you want to deny the flat Earth measurements that I'm professing to right here, right now, then you simultaneously deny the fundamental basis of your ball religion, because it's based on those measurements. So to believe in a ball, you, not me, need to measure Earth flat to create that ball to believe in. Now, that puts a spin that I like to call the rock and hard place into this discussion. It's not a debate. There is no debate. Earth's measured flat. But in terms of the discussion, you can either accept how flat Earth is measured to believe in a ball, or deny the flat Earth measurements, which means you've got nothing to base your ball on. That's the hard place, where you deny the flat Earth measurements that your ball's based on. The rock being the very flat measurements of Earth that we must use, do use, and will always use when measuring Earth. So as I say, had you have come to me, it'd be a very short discussion, AsmonGold. Earth's just measured flat. You don't have to like it.
Scare me?
On the face of it, flat Earth beliefs are completely bizarre.
Sorry, are they? Sorry, when did I profess to any belief? Did I, in the last 25 seconds, describe a belief system? When I said, Earth is measured flat, Sabine, was that me expressing a bleeding belief? No, you stupid cow. It's not a belief. It's a fact based on the measurements of Earth. It's flat. That's not a belief. You can deny this fundamental base premise of Earth measurement, but then you, not me, can't believe in your stupid ball belief. You're the only one with a belief here, Sabine. It's based on the measurements of Earth. They're flat. How dare you strawman and misrepresent me by stereotype? You're a disgrace. You are not in any position to tell this man or anybody watching your video what I am and what I believe in. How dare you?
Most flat earthers think that the Earth...
Straight into a stereotyping fallacy. Most flat earthers, no, Sabine. Yeah, I'm going to do it one last time. You do not get to tell your audience what I believe. How dare you? You disgrace of a woman.
North Pole in the middle, and the South Pole is a wall on the outside. But
so what are you nodding about, AsmonGold? So have you gone and interviewed all flat earthers to agree with this stereotyping fallacy? Now, you're making yourself seem incredibly stupid. You're nodding along while she uses a fallacy called stereotyping, where she says most flat earthers. No, I am a flat earther. I say it's flat because that's how it's measured. It's got sod all to do with this, which is an azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric globe projection. So why are you nodding along? I debunked this shit 10 years ago with Tracking the Sun on a Flat Earth Live, where I took measurements, that's to say, located the sun at given times and saw if it matched with the zenith position of the sun at the time and date depiction by comparison to this azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric globe projection. So no, most flat earthers, how many have responded to this video? Am I the first? Because immediately she's wrong. I'm disagreeing with her based on the facts. Earth's measured flat. To create a globe, to then project it conically in the fashion that this is from the North Pole, because it's the North Pole-centric azimuthal equidistant projection of a globe that was created using flat Earth measurements. So she's wrong and you're nodding. Why? So you sound smart? Because you're agreeing with Sabine? She's a dingbat using a stereotyping fallacy. Why would you agree?
That keeps the water from escaping. They can't really agree on where the continents are or...
Did I come up with this frickin' map? What do you mean we can't agree? I didn't come up with the North Pole-centric azimuthal equidistant projection. It's not mine. You're saying I can't agree. You mean the cartographers that made this map? The Gleason's as it is map, which is the same as this. That would be Gleason. Not me, you stupid stereotyping using idiot.
Or how many there are, or whether the South Pole...
Nobody knows. I mean, it's impossible. How can you know how many continents there are?
What? There was people who went out and explored the world, AsmonGold. They put them on maps. Are you a map denier? We can't know. Go and get a map of the world and count them. Are you a dingbat too? Are you completely insane? People went to great expense to discover the new worlds. Like my terminology. Out towards the offing. That's the horizon when they explored outer space. That's the area they used to call beyond the offing, beyond the horizon, where the new worlds are. You live on one of them, AsmonGold. What's that? You thought new worlds were up in the sky? No. Not according to the documented history that we could all go by, and the maps where you can count continents on them. Now, does that mean that you might have more? Well, we certainly found more out towards the offing. Until they were describing the world spherically by use of flat Earth measurements. So they wrapped the world around itself in the maps. That's globe projection. But they had to measure Earth flat to achieve that. Let's get that absolutely clear.
It's impossible. How would you know?
All the way to infinity, so it's a flat Earth multiverse theory, basically.
Sorry, where did you get this from? So it's a flat Earth multiverse theory named because somebody came up with it. Who came up with this shit that she's lying about? She's just a bold-faced liar. No, there's no flat Earth multiverse theory. You're just a bullshitter, aren't you, Sabine? You're just making it up. No, there is no flat Earth multiverse theory. There's just flat Earth measurements. Sabine, however, this dim-witted stereotype-using clown, does have a multiverse. She does have multi-dimensions. She believes that time is a dimension based on Einsteinian mathematics. And I can prove it. I can show where she stated it. Now, do we have time, a conceptual dimension invented by a man named Einstein? No, we do not. It's a concept in a geometry called pseudo-Riemannian fourth-dimensional space-time invented by Einstein. So she is projecting her own nonsense waffle onto us. She's just a liar.
Yeah. Part of the reason...
So did I say, yeah? So again, cockwaffler, Grebo, why are you agreeing with her? Have you done any research beyond watching this video and nodding along with it? You agree, do you? No, Dumbo. You've got a fourth-dimensional space-time geometry given to you by Einstein. It's nonsense. Time's not a dimension. You want to show me time? You want to put it in a bag? You won't be, but that's your stupid belief that she's projected onto me. And it's a freaking outrage.
People believe in this is just a lack
I love how, like, this is the explanation for why the Earth is actually flat.
Is it? From a globe-believing lying bitch? No, AsmonGold, you're as stupid as she is. No, this is not an explanation for how Earth's flat. You get that from me, not from her, a bull believer. She's going to lie and stereotype and suggest that we believe in multi-dimensions. No, there's length, breadth and depth. That's what we've got. We haven't got a time dimension that you, if you believe in heliocentrism and Einsteinian pseudo-geometry, believe in. Not me. Don't agree with us so you can sound smart.
As if, like, if you did this with a frisbee and not a basketball, it would also look fucking stupid.
Really? You sound stupid because you obviously haven't looked into how Earth got measured to create a basketball model that you believe in. It was measured flat to achieve that stupid nonsensical ball model that you thought you were living on till about 25 seconds ago when I pointed out the facts in the matter. Earth's measured flat. To create your stupid ball, your basketball that you think you're living on with your pseudo-Riemannian fourth-dimensional space-time geometry that this bitch projected onto me, much to my outrage. Now you're getting shouted at, AsmonGold, and called a dumbass. No frisbee Earth, no ball basketball Earth, just flat Earth measurements. The measurements are of a aspect of Earth, not a shape of Earth. You're in a category error, both of you clowns.
So how is it that, like, this is the evidence that you have?
No, you dingbat! This isn't my evidence, it's hers! A bull-believing clown's evidence that she's stereotyping with isn't my evidence. My evidence is based on the measurements of Earth, AsmonGold. Go and look at any of them. They're all flat. Want some examples? Flight level, ground level, eye level, sea level, surface level, altitude, elevation angle. These are Earth measurements, you dingbat. You drunk too many Yoo-Hoos and Red Bulls to not go and actually look at how Earth's measured when assessing an opponent of the flat Earth for how flat Earthers think. You're as dumb as she is.
We superglued some stick figures onto a basketball and...
No, AsmonGold, you dumbass. This lying bitch did that. It's on her video. What did I refer to? I referred to flight level, sea level, surface level, eye level, parallel. All of these things are axiomatically tied to how Earth gets measured, not stickmen on an Sabine Hoslenfelder video. That's not me. She's not a flat earther. She doesn't get to tell you what I believe. I don't have any beliefs in this regard. I base everything I spit at you in this factual discussion on measurements of Earth. They're flat.
Spun it around?
Basic science education. Some of them think that if the Earth was a globe, then water just run off on the South Pole.
It would fall off down.
Sorry, these are discussions about your dumbass bull belief. What the holy fuck does this have to do with how Earth is measured flat? You're talking about how a ball doesn't work. That is in no way, shape or form anything to do with Earth's surface and its measurements. It's about you and your idiotic ball belief and how your idiotic ball belief is suggested to fail by one individual in this video. Now, it's simultaneously taken ownership by Sabine, who's using it to stereotype everyone. But the man on screen and Sabine are not detailing anything to do with Earth as a flat plane, how it's measured. You're detailing how your dumbass ball faith fails. Sod all to do with me, how you interpret your ball, or others interpret your ball. That's got sod all to do with flat Earth. That's just how Earth's measured.
At the bottom.
I wonder what.
Yep.
They also misunderstand how perspective.
Really? Sorry, you're going to talk about perspective, something that doesn't exist in your globe reification fallacy that's based on flat Earth measurements? Why are you doing this, Sabine? You're a disgrace of a human being. Now, I absolutely understand perspective. I've got a ball-believing school teacher, formerly known as Conspiracy Cats, who said, and I quote, "You'll need a flat Earth for that," end quote, when detailing perspective. Because that's how that's measured also. If you're going to detail perspective with respect to the surface of Earth, with measurements, you will and can only measure Earth flat for that. Now, am I stereotyping you stupid cow, about how you don't understand perspective? No, I'm not. I'm using a cited source, that would be Conspiracy Cats, a former school teacher, who, quote, "You'll need a flat Earth for that," end quote, pointed out how flat Earth must be to use perspective. Meanwhile, you with your idiotic ball faith have got a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking mathematics that takes the effect of things disappearing into the distance, that's perspective, and call it Earth curve. So no, this is yet another projection by a disingenuous lying cow named Sabine.
Round earthers. To be fair, it's impressive that this is a...
It's funny though, I'm not going to get into all that nonsense he's talking about, but it's funny that because they've just shown one example that water doesn't stick to a ball, and now they're showing you that the light is divergent. Everything that they say it isn't, they've twisted it the wrong way around for themselves.
To describe the angles in this description, right, the angles that he's got on screen are with respect to a plane. That's how you'd measure this.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's divergent, convergent, or parallel. You must have a plane of reference in order to describe it in any way.
Precisely. In order to describe this straw man that Sabine the cow, lying, disingenuous glurf, has decided to straw man me with, because I'm the one responding to this, John, refracted curvature, yeah, that's a play on the fact that you guys use a begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator to suggest you've got a point in the distance that boats disappear over. But in reality, to describe anything with this measurement akin to a divergence requires a plane of reference. Or to put it another way, you'll need a flat Earth for this, you pair of clowns.
This is a phrase. It's a proper noun. Wow.
Works, how trigonometry works, how cameras work, and on it goes.
Sorry, you think that when you use a camera, you're taking perspective into account when you incorporate your ball belief for a disappearing boat in the distance? No, you do not, Sabine. You're a disingenuous scumbag liar. Or you're just very ill-informed about how your Earth curve geometry functions. It's hijacked perspective. Doesn't include it, though. So why would you choose to talk about this subject, when in reality, quote, "I'll give you a flat Earth for that," end quote, Conspiracy Cats, when detailing perspective, something that is not included in your geometry? You will require a flat plane of reference to describe any mathematical inference about perspective. These are facts. Facts that prove how flat Earth will and can only be measured for perspective.
You cannot bring up technology and science to disprove flat Earth.
Dumbo, you're in a category error. How Earth is measured is maths. Science establishes the cause of naturally occurring phenomena. It's called natural science. Step 1, observe natural phenomena. Step 2, formulate a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis, with an independent variable, that's your presumed cause, of the naturally occurring phenomena. Alongside it is a null, a zero difference result, where your presumed cause doesn't cause the effect you observed at step 1. Step 3, actualize the hypothesis. Vary and manipulate that which you presume causes the effect you observed at step 1 and see if it causes it or not. An empirical outcome is achieved at the end of this process. Either you will cause the effect you observed at step 1, tick, validating the alternative hypothesis, or you will vary and manipulate that which you assumed caused the effect and it doesn't, validating the null. Validation is the only outcome when observing phenomena. That's something occurring in nature. Do you think measuring a plane of reference for perspective is observing natural phenomena to put it through the scientific method? No. AsmonGold is a clown and doesn't understand what science is, but feels by talking about science and technology, two completely separate subjects. He can say, oh, well, you can't validate Earth with that. Now, you're in a category error, you dumbo. The reason you're in a category error is because you don't know what science is.
You can't do that because they didn't get there with science. You think that somebody believes flat Earth because they know...
So you get there with science. No, it's a method for establishing cause and effect through experimentation. You don't get there. It's not the means of journeying. Are you an idiot?
Know about science? No. They believe flat Earth because they don't know about science.
Really? You dumb fuck! How dare you? I absolutely know what science is. I've just detailed concisely for a live audience the method of science, aka the scientific method. Observe phenomena, formulate hypothesis, perform experimentation, and then form theory. That's science. I can absolutely guarantee you that this Red Bull swilling grebo hasn't got the slightest clue what science is, which is why I can spit feathers and call you a moron. You're going to tell me I don't know what science is? I not only know what science is, I know how that magic word that infers empiricism has been used in a category error to pretend you have the sphericity of a ball Earth beneath your feet based on maths. That's the measurement of surface level, sea level, eye level, parallel, perpendicularity. All of these axiomatic principles that we use when measuring Earth. Nothing to do with science. So, AsmonGold, maybe keep your dumb mouth shut when you're talking about what I don't know, because I absolutely assure you I know a damn sight more about science than you will ever know, you utter clown.
That's the whole reason why they're thinking it.
So now you're into using stereotype fallacies. The reason I know Earth's measured flat is because I don't know what science is. And I'm schooling you on the method live. And I don't know it, yeah I do. I challenge AsmonGold to present a single scientifically empirically measured data point. You can't, it's a category error, you abject buffoon.
So you can't be like, oh, well, science says this. Well, it's
That is called a reification fallacy with anthropomorphization. Big words that I can say live. Anthropomorphization is making human that which is not. In this case, a method. What a clown.
If science says anything, then...
It doesn't have lips. Is a method for establishing the cause of natural phenomena gonna waggle its lips, AsmonGold, you complete buffoon? No, that's anthropomorphization that you're utilising.
Then this person wouldn't be having this conversation to begin with. You can't reason a person out of a position they didn't reason themselves into.
Sorry, are you trying to be some sort of fucking philosopher? What do you think you are? Do you think you're saying profound statements? You're in a category error trying to profess to be smart. You're coming across as a complete idiot. Let me assure you, science deals with cause and effect. Earth, on the other hand, is measured flat. That's maths.
And that's where flat Earth is at. This is not a reasoned position.
Maybe he's projecting.
Not a reasoned position. It's just a measurement, you dumbass. It's not a position I need to take. It's an absolute stone cold fact based on how we measure Earth. Go ahead, John.
He didn't reason himself onto a globe, so you can't reason him off of one. He's projecting.
That's
You
true.
were told you were on a globe, AsmonGold. You were told this. That's what you have taken to believe in, based on what you've been told. And now you're seeking affirmation from this. That's confirmation bias.
It's not just a matter of misunderstanding. If you believe that the Earth is flat,
Well, I don't believe Earth is flat. It's measured that way. There's no belief involved here. The only belief involved is you with your sphere beneath your feet that you believe in. That's your belief that you're projecting onto me. My absolute stone-cold factual understanding of this matter is based on Earth measurements. We've already had one from you, describing perspective and convergence, with respect to a plane that you'd have to measure. So we haven't even got 30 seconds into this video and we're already measuring Earth flat, aren't we, Sabine?
you also have to believe in a global conspiracy.
So by incorporating global into a conspiracy, sorry, where did I suggest that two or more people have colluded to measure Earth? No, that's not a conspiracy. It's a measurement of Earth's surface to describe convergence or perspective. That's not a conspiracy, you complete clown. But you've got to burn this straw man where you say I believe in a conspiracy. No, I hate them. I hate all of the flat Earth clowns around me that profess to their conspiratorial nonsense that they investigated before they got here. It seems to me the case that every idiot under the sun who's got a conspiracy that they're looking into gets furrowed towards flat Earth so they can waffle on about 9/11 truth and Sandy Hook so that you can call us conspiratards. Well, that's not me, love. I'm talking about how Earth gets measured. Flat in all circumstances. That's not a conspiracy. It's a measurement of Earth's surface.
That's right.
That's hiding the truth.
Is it? Really, AsmonGold? You going to agree with this numpty dipshit?
For no particular reason.
That's right.
For starters, you must believe that most of physics is wrong.
It's fake.
And
Sorry, most of physics is wrong when we're talking about measuring the surface of the Earth. That's maths, not physics. Physics is the study of the physical and natural world, aka natural science. That's the scientific method. That's physics. Cause and effect reasoning based on natural phenomena. That's physics. The physical and natural world in study format is natural science. That is the scientific method. Sabine's in a category error. We don't deal with Earth measurement. Who's interrupting me? Go on. If you're going to interrupt, and I'm going to stop.
I was going to say her physics she's appealing to either uses Earth as an inertial plane to describe a force, or a non-inertial plane to describe an upwards vector. So I don't know what she's talking about when she's saying we don't believe in physics.
I was going to say how physics fails.
We're called science deniers. Why? Because the empiricism offered by the scientific method has been hijacked to put what should be a mathematical or geographical subject matter, that's Earth and its surface, in the form of measurements, has been put into a science category so that you can barefaced lie and call the suggested fact that Earth is a sphere physics. And when somebody says it isn't, you can call them a science denier. In reality, it's a category error deliberately imposed so that nobody notices how flat Earth gets measured. If it was in geography or maths, you'd know about it pretty quick. But you put it in science and tell your student, like AsmonGold, to glance up at the stars when detailing the surface being measured flat. Because it is that flat surface that creates the elevation angle measurements to create orbital motion and heliocentrism. That's to say your globe belief. That's where it comes from. But you'd know pretty quickly if they put it in maths, rather than lying about having it be empirically validated. It isn't. It can't be. You can't describe flatness, that's a concrete noun, as a cause and effect based on a phenomena. Flatness, or the measurement of Earth's surface level, sea level, flight level, eye level. You can't call that a phenomena to call it physics.
Physicists are just
Fake.
making things up.
It's fake.
We're all part of a big conspiracy.
Right, what, like a downward vector with respect to a plane of reference for a gravity that's been superseded 110 years ago in the form of Newtonian gravitational vectors perpendicular to a plane? No, you, with your stupid ball belief and your need to have people sticking to a ball, invent things that require flat Earth measurements to bullshit about. In this case, out-of-date pseudo-forces. That's gravity. Or is it the conceptual bending of a fourth dimension invented by a man named Einstein that he projected onto us earlier when you suggested that we've got extra dimensions in flat Earth? No, mere projection from a bullshitter named Sabine, where she infers her use of extra dimensions invented by a man named Einstein in a pseudo-geometry are the physics that I would deny. No, let's just make it absolutely and abundantly clear for anybody listening, including AsmonGold, who I'll share his link to momentarily. Earth is simply measured flat. In this case, a downward vector for a Newtonian gravity, perpendicular to a plane of reference when measured. Now, not all things go down, go boom boom, go splash splash. Fart, as AsmonGold the Grebo undoubtedly does in that dirty, stinky room he sat in, and you'll find that the gases expand in all direction. They're not going down and forming puddles, in line with a Newtonian aspect that, when measured, if true, would require a plane to measure it with.
Geophysicists, they're also in on it.
Fake.
Astrophysicists, all
Well, yeah, it's fake, obviously, because like people, you
stuttery clown! You've edited this video, you haven't done this live, and you're managing to stutter your way through your affirmation based on a bullshitter sentiment. What a disgrace. Could you not edit out your stuttery, stammery nature? You're stuttering because you haven't got the slightest fucking clue what you're waffling about. Have you, AsmonGold? You're a bullshitter and you fucking know it.
Science was a mistake to put it in the eyes of the average person.
Science was a mistake to put it in the eyes of the average person. That literally made absolutely no fucking sense as a single sentence. As a statement, it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Science is a methodology for establishing the cause of naturally occurring phenomena, aka natural science, the study of the physical natural world, aka physics. You, AsmonGold, are a Billy bullshitter, a stuttery, stammery wanker, pretending you know about science. You don't.
Like an average human being...
That's you, an average moron.
...is supposed to eat potatoes raw?
Sorry, is this your science example, you crackhead? Really? Is this your science example, you stupid buffoon? You sound like a wanker. Like a bullshitting wanker making shit up. That's what you sound like, AsmonGold. To me, somebody who actually knows what science and the scientific method are, you just sound like a wanker.
And die at 32 from a toothache. Like, we were never supposed to get this. This was never supposed to happen. This was never fucking supposed to happen.
Like, what was never supposed to happen, you babbling buffoon?
And
not eating potatoes and having toothache? No, what you're doing is you're projecting your own stupid, shitty life where you eat shit and have probably lost teeth as a result. Yeah, this has got nothing to do with science. It's not a naturally occurring phenomena that you're describing, you complete crackhead.
And we're having...
You stuttery wanker. Try and form a full sentence with information that you've actually garnered. Don't stutter your way around bullshit about science, because you'll get called out by me.
Problems.
Everyone who's ever been involved in launching a rocket into space...
Fake.
Sorry, when you launch a rocket into space, you take its altitude measurements perpendicular to a plane of reference. So in order to describe a rocket launch mathematically, that's to say garner any data from that information, the rocket launch itself, you will and can only describe that event with a flat Earth. For altitude, that's height off sea level. You'll need sea level. That's a flat plane of reference to describe the altitude with. Trajectories are flat Earth measurements. You, pair of clowns, are using a flat Earth again.
Putting a satellite into orbit is...
Orbital motion comes from the derivation of angular measurements of the stars by Kepler, scaled by Huygens. These are unequivocally flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements of Earth's flat surface. For you, pair of idiots, to believe in orbital motion, you will require Earth be measured flat with elevation angle measurements. Stop using our flat Earth to infer you've got an orbital mathematics, to believe you're stood on a sphere. It's idiotic.
Part of that conspiracy too. Moon landings didn't happen.
No, they didn't. They violate a law of nature known as entropy. Entropic dispersion would dictate that fart I described that the Grebo would be experiencing surrounded by his cans of Red Bull would dissipate into the area of volume surrounding him. The same would occur with all of the gas that we're currently breathing. If the sky was a vacuum, an area of volume, for men to travel to arrive at the moon's surface, then the gas we are breathing would vacate into what is alleged to be a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. Gas fills space. It's a law of nature. It's called entropy. So yeah, the trip to the moon is absolutely without question fake. It violates a law of nature. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Hey Nathan, it appears to me like he's watching this for some sort of comfort, because he's just immediately agreeing with everything she's saying, and so it's all reassured. And he said that this can't be right. This is the nonsense that the flat earthers say. It's like he's getting some comfort, reassurance from it. Almost
Yeah. What you're calling comfort, I call pain relief.
Oh.
They hope.
Oh, he's getting cope. He's coping with things.
Oh, cope.
Listening to this.
Yeah. You'd have got a lot of cope out of watching our anti-flat Earth brethren, Sabine Hoslenfelder. Right, AsmonGold? Yeah, wait till you get a load of me. Yeah, I'll slap that pain relief out of your hand and point out how flat Earth is being measured for orbital motion, or surface level, or sea level, or altitude, or elevation angles to create your orbital motion with. Earth's measured flat for all of them. Is that giving you pain relief? I doubt it.
ISS, not in orbit. Every single photo that's ever been taken of Earth from space.
Photoshop.
Yeah. You can't take pictures from a violation of a second law of thermodynamics vacuum in the sky. All of the gas you're currently enjoying breathing would fill the space. It's the second law of thermodynamics. Entropic dispersion dictates that the gas you're currently breathing would fill that volume if it was there for them to travel through. If a rocket can vacate the yummy gas you're all enjoying breathing, then so can the gas. No, there are no pictures from space. It's all fake.
Fake sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it?
No, when I describe it based on a law of nature known as the second law of thermodynamics and entropic gas dispersion. Gas fills volumes of space. Always and without exception. What's that? It's not filling your sky vacuum space because of what? A gravitational downward vector with respect to a plane of reference you'll have to measure. Oh, no. It's actually the bending pseudo-Riemannian space-time geometry that's keeping the gas all here. No, it's simply a violation of the second law of thermodynamics to assert there's an area of volume above your head that gas is not filling. That violates the second law of thermodynamics. Ergo, there is no outer space sky vacuum to travel to and take pictures from.
But then
it doesn't sound crazy if you're stupid.
Oh, really, AsmonGold? Are you going to really enjoy listening to me call you a fucking retard then, aren't you? While you stutter and stammer about eating potatoes when talking about science. You thicko. Yeah, that's me spitting these facts about how stupid you are. Down my camera live. No stuttering or stammering here, mate. Just me calling you a retard.
And that's what these people don't understand.
These people? How fucking dare you? I'm talking about how Earth gets measured flat, AsmonGold, and how science and the scientific method and empirical methodology for establishing cause and effect when observing natural phenomena in nature. Yeah, I'm detailing how Earth gets measured flat, and you clowns use that category error to suggest to little children that they've got science to prove they're on a ball, when their ball is based on those same flat Earth measurements I appeal to when detailing without a doubt how factually flat Earth is, based on measurements. Not science, not potatoes or tooth removal.
Is that if you understand people, you understand flat Earth.
Really? You think people is what flat Earth is? You think the word flat and the word Earth... Sorry, was that flat people? People Earth? No, you're a fuckwit. The clue's in the frickin' title, you complete clown. When they say flat Earth, you might want to go out and look at how flat the Earth is. That'd be measurements. That'd be rise over run, surveying, elevation angle measurements to form your orbital motion as just a couple of examples. Those measurements that you absolutely require to believe you're on a stupid spinning ball are what I'll lean in while I call you a fuckwit, you dirty grebo clown.
People are just stupid.
Really? And science is about potatoes and tooth removal, is it, fuckwit? No, I'm not stupid, I assure you. Yeah? You are entering into the battle of the wits with a flat earther that knows what science and the scientific method is, unlike you, potato eater.
It's that simple.
No, you're a clown. You haven't got a clue what science is. Science and the scientific method aren't going to be proving the shape of Earth because the aspect of Earth we measure is flat. It's got sod all to do with cause and effect. It's not physics. It's not natural science and the scientific method. You are just thick. You are projecting your ineptitude and idiocy onto me, and it's a disgrace.
Why did somebody do something? Because they're stupid. That's the reason.
Why did you make this video? Because you're stupid, because you're a clown, because you thought you'd make your audience believe that you're smart. No. The smart people who figured out how Earth gets measured, that's flat in all circumstances, when we profess to that fact in opposition to you and your ball belief, we get censored, shoved to the bottom of the YouTube algorithmic lists. That's what happens to the actual smart people. The dumbos who respond to Sabine Hosselenfelder and go, yeah, when she uses fallacies like stereotyping, they're the real clowns. You get promoted though, don't you? Yeah, I'm sure you don't struggle to pay your bills. Because you're promoted. Because the lovely world that you inhabit likes dumbos. You're assisting in dumbing the rest of the world down, you clown.
Well, hold on a second. I'm getting a little tired of this because we're getting accused of being stupid. We're getting accused of being science deniers when we uphold the scientific method and we are not in a category error. They are, and they deny geography.
Yeah, AsmonGold, you're a geography denier. Did you not realise that we measure elevation angles of Earth's surface? Do you not realise that? Do you not realise that we use linear horizontal distance measurements in the form of miles and kilometres? Did you not know that? Have you never used a map? Have you never noticed the scale on it being flat? Did you think that was curving, you clown? No, you're a geography denier, aren't you? You're a maths denier, otherwise known as a retard. Yeah, retards like you deny maths and geography because you think it's science. What an idiot.
I mean, I've not watched this video, but I do hope somewhere further on in the video that they, mentioned something like Al-Biruni or Eratosthenes and how they apparently measured Earth. That would be interesting.
Right, as much as it pains me to do so, right? Go and let AsmonGold know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube algorithmic bots, or indeed by AsmonGold himself. Point out to AsmonGold that an actual flat earther, not some stereotype-using, fallacy-spewing bitch, suggests flat earthers will say this and believe that. An actual flat earther responded and schooled Sabine for her stereotype use, and you, AsmonGold, for agreeing with her, making yourself seem incredibly stupid. Let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment underneath his video. Hopefully, AsmonGold will grow a set of balls and respond to this and put a link to my video, so maybe I can actually pay some bills this month, because I'm censored. You won't find me in the YouTube algorithm, because what am I doing? Well, I'm talking about how Earth gets measured, flat in all circumstances. Not suggesting that water will flow off the ball you believe in, because that's got sod all to do with how Earth is actually measured when we get into the correct category. That's maths and geography, rise over run, surveying, elevation angles, perpendicular to a plane of reference. All of these aspects of Earth's surface are measurable, are measured, and are usable to create a ball for you to believe in like you were told to do so in your crappy school education that you had.
People also believe that an omniscient being keeps track of who they have sex.
It's another stereotyping fallacy. Bitch!
Oh, God.
Stop stereotyping! People believe, do they? Yeah, I won't stereotype you, but I could pour scorn on how stupid you and the rest of your idiot society are when you believe in a ball. What I'll do instead is point out the facts in the matter. You, with your stupid ball belief, need flat Earth measurements to create it. Those are facts, not stereotypes.
With. A recent representative poll in North America found that 5% think the Earth is flat, and another...
Who gives the tiniest of shit what a survey says? A survey's not going to show you the measurements of Earth's surface. You think whether or not Earth's flat is based on surveys? What another idiot category error from a lying, stereotype-using bitch. No, whether or not Earth is flat has nothing to do with how you survey people. Was it just me, or was 30 seconds ago you were moaning about how it's about people, and yet you go into a survey? You think how Earth is measured's got anything to do with the survey of people? You're idiots. If you want to know how Earth is describable in terms of an aspect, not a shape, that's another stupid idiot, crazy notion that you can put into a category area. You need this aspect to be measured. It's not about a poll of people.
Well, here's the thing, though, with Jesus, right? It's so, like, Jesus was, like, the son of God, and, like, his mom, like, was, like, impregnated by God, but...
These are actual beliefs. This is a religion devoid from flat Earth. It's nothing to do with the subject of how Earth gets measured. But now you're incorporating and pouring scorn on actual self-confessed beliefs. This entire religion that you're pouring scorn on is based on faith. Now, my understanding of how Earth gets measured has sod all to do with faith. I don't need faith in elevation angles. You need them for your ball belief and its orbital motion. That's not faith, that's fact. Based on measurement.
But she had a husband too, but like it's not his kid, and like then they crucified him, and then he comes back and he's like, I'm actually Jesus, and like all this shit happens, right? But this is like such a long time ago. Like you can't just go back and be like, yo, by the way, it didn't happen, right? Because like it's hard to disprove that. You can't debunk that as easy as you can with something with flat Earth. I mean, bro.
Again, you're in a category error. The standard that you'd use to validate or disprove biblical suggestions is a historical standard. My God, how many category errors do you need?
People were figuring out the Earth was round probably before we even had wheels.
Really? We were figuring out that Earth was round. No. What we were doing is measuring Earth's surface level with elevation angle measurements to stars like Polaris to derive areas of equal elevation. In this case, the minimum elevation angle measurement of Polaris gives you your radial value. That's where you formed your ball belief, based on flat Earth measurements. But you want to stutter and stammer and go into a high pitch about it, do you? You're a dumbass.
I don't know about it. It was ancient Greece. People fucking knew this.
One deck, you there? No, they measured Earth flat too. Sticks and shadows are elevation angle measurements. That's flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements to derive a radius in a different format. You haven't got a clue. You don't know what you're talking about. Please let AsmonGold know with a polite comment on his video that at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. There is a link to AsmonGold's video whizzing its way by in the live stream chat as we speak. Now, we're going to take a little pause here so that the audience does get an opportunity to actually toddle along to AsmonGold and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. The idea being that he does actually put a link to my video. If he grows a set of balls and actually responds to a flat earther telling him, not asking, not debating, not suggesting, telling you Earth's measured flat. I don't need your approval, but it would be nice to see your reaction. Yeah? See how little pain relief you get when I'm calling you an abject clown for not knowing already that Earth's measured flat? Did you not study geography? Have you never used a map? Have you never seen the flat scale? Do you not know what a mile is? Have you never heard of sea level? Did you not know about flight level? Did you not know about all of these axiomatic flat Earth measurements that we use all day, every day when measuring Earth? You'd have thought you'd have looked at that instead of going to a straw man using bitch who's getting a poll. If you want to find out how big your fucking room is, you're going to poll the people in the surrounding area for how big it is, or you're going to take out a fucking tape measure, you clown. Now, I'm going to suggest that you go and poll people. How big do you think my room is? Yeah? Answers on a postcard, and then I'll put them into a little poll and get an idea of how many feet you think it is. What a clown. Feet, by the way, are a flat Earth prerequisite. They're linear.
Isn't it strange? Sorry, Neil. Like because, pardon the pun, the level we're on now, knowing how Earth's measured flat and how in every instance everybody will be describing it that way. When you listen to these videos and they tell you, we never used to notice this, but now when I look at this now and notice it, it's like, wow, it's such a, I can't explain it, but it's like they're telling you it's flat themselves and using examples of it. It's a really weird feeling.
Well, we were so bastard for years. Did they give us 5%? Wow. I thought it was lower than that.
So it's like the difference is like you can believe in Jesus because you can't immediately disprove Jesus.
Sorry, here's my challenge to AsmonGold. Disprove Miles. Does that sound like a stupid statement to you? Because it is. There's no disproving how flat Earth is in terms of how it's measured. It's not something up for debate or discussion. It's just facts about how the surface of Earth is utilised and measured and referenced. Always and without exception. Every single one of your faiths in a ball come from those measurements of a flat surface. That's how Earth is measured. It's not debatable.
You can't disprove Jesus immediately by experimentation and testing.
Right, again, you're in a category error. You don't disprove history with science. I mean, is it just me or is AsmonGold just a complete fuckwit? Like a complete retard? No, you're talking about a historical standard, retard. That's not going to get disproved with physics. You think whether or not Jesus is documentable in history is provable with a cause and effect relationship through the scientific method? You're in a category error. Again. What a moron. No, you need the historic standard for whether or not Jesus existed. Not science, you complete buffoon.
And multiple levels of references and proof, right? Like, what's the evidence that Jesus was the Son of God? Well, I mean, there it is. That's the reason. Evidence is you read the Bible, right? But there's not like, for example...
No, you'd find out by looking through with a history standard. It's a very different set of standards. Idiot, why are you talking about this?
You can't talk about physics to explain that. You can't...
I would bet every single penny I own that if push came to shove on a live stream, AsmonGold could not detail, as I have done on this live stream, what science, that's physics, is. He couldn't do it. He hasn't got a clue. He stuttered around and decided to describe potatoes and tooth loss. He hasn't got a clue.
Go and measure shadows to explain that.
Right, there we go. Immediately failed. I would have kept every penny I own and doubled it if I'd have put it as a bet. So he just said physics and then described measuring something. That's maths, you stupid idiot. So you've immediately proved me right then. You don't know what physics is. Measuring things? No, that's not physics, the study of the physical and natural world. That's measurements, aka maths. You clown, you buffoon, you retard. Do your audience think you're smart, AsmonGold? No, you're not. You're a clown.
Like, you can't immediately go and prove that Jesus was the Son of God without using self-referential logic, right? Where it's like, he is because he says he is, or circular logic, excuse me. And the Bible says he is, and it's why does the Bible say that? Because he is, right? But with the flat earth, it's so much worse than a religion, because you...
So it's not a religion, it's nothing to do with a historical standard, and it isn't circular reasoning. When I say we measure Earth flat, that's a statement of absolute fact. Now, I detailed earlier the rock and the hard place. The rock, accept how Earth is measured flat, because it is. The hard place, deny how flat Earth gets measured. Well, what are you going to base your radial value on for an Earth that you think is spherical then? Oh, you haven't got any measurements if you deny how flat Earth is measured from the hard place. Oh, you do want the flat Earth measurements that your ball's based on. Well then, on your knees in acknowledgement of how flat Earth gets measured. That's maths, not science. Not history either, you dumbo.
You can easily disprove it.
Oh, really? You're going to disprove a mile? And how flat and linear it is on a map? For navigation, you're going to disprove elevation angles used to create orbital motion for you to believe you're on a stupid ball. You're going to disprove elevation, heights above the surface level measured from sea level. You're going to disprove these, are you? Very easy to disprove sea level. That's a nonsensical statement. You don't disprove sea level. It's an axiomatic principle used for measuring altitudes off a flat plane. It's how we measure altitudes. It's not up for debate, you clown.
You can disprove it in seconds.
Okay. Disprove sea level. You fuckwit. Do it. I'd like to see AsmonGold disprove sea level. I mean, this is a very malformed challenge. You're not going to be disproving sea level. It is what it is. It's an average of the sea as a level plane of reference so we can describe heights from it. Like how high or low the land is with respect to the surface level, from an average measured level that we use called sea level. You're going to disprove that, are you, AsmonGold, with your Yoo-hoo and your Red Bull and your trash that you sit in? You dirty, stupid grebo. No, you're not going to disprove sea level. You're a fuckwit.
But they believe it anyway.
Sorry, am I believing in sea level? Is sea level something that I base a belief on? Or is it how we surveyed the entire surface of Earth with respect to it? Is that a belief? No, you're a dickhead, an idiot, a buffoon, a vapid moron. That's what you are. If you think that sea level's a belief, no, it's an axiomatic principle used for measuring the surface with. That's what it is. That's not something I believe in, you total moron.
Aren't quite sure. I'm not quite sure how many people lie in these polls, but there's no doubt that interest in flat earth ideas has...
So let me get it straight. You've presented this poll and you don't even know anything about it. So when AsmonGold goes out and asks a load of people, how big's my room? Will it be this multiple choice answer or that It's a measurement. But she doesn't even know where the polls come from or the statistics around it. So you've just found a random poll that says there's 5% of people who believe in flat Earth, but you don't know the numbers. Not that whether or not Earth being measured flat's got anything to do with people's suggestions of their belief. Who cares how many people know? It wouldn't matter if it was just me. it will still be measured flat, regardless of your pole. You pair of clowns.
Seems to me, Nathan, like, you know, if the 5% is correct, I mean, she's making a big deal about this, you know, people believing in a flat earth, isn't she? Like it's really affected her life somehow.
It's causing her pain because her actual belief in a ball that's been built on flat earth measurements is undermined by the people believing in a flat earth by a percentage that she can look up on a graph that she hasn't got a clue about the statistics that built it with. What a clown.
No, she's got to do his add-on. Now she's going into birds aren't real. Really?
Called a straw man.
Spiked in the past decade, as you can see in the Google search trends.
It's going to keep getting worse, by the way.
Yeah, you're damn fucking right it is, you stupid idiot. You're going to have me spitting feathers about how factually flat Earth is measured to produce a ball for you to believe in. So you're damn straight it's going to get worse. The only thing you can do to overcome these facts is censor me. So let AsmonGold know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by him, while he gets all hetty about how terrible it's getting. Oh no, there's flat earthers coming to me. Yeah, there is. I've sent them to you to tell you you're a clown based on the measurements of Earth being flat.
In 2009, the International Flat Earth Society set up a website. In 2013, part of its members set up a wiki and discussion forum.
So if I set up a website describing how dirty AsmonGold is, will that make it real? If I survey people, how dirty and stinky and disgusting do you think AsmonGold is? Will that make it a fact? Surely we'd have to be in your presence and just use our noses to figure out how disgusting you stink, rather than taking a survey from people about how they might think you stink, how dirty they perceive you to be. Now, the survey's irrelevant. How stinky you are is based on how foul you smell, and how flat Earth is based on how it's measured. Doesn't matter what websites were set up about it.
Around 2015, the topic started to appear on YouTube and spread from here. In 2017, the first Flat Earth conference took place, which attracted a lot of media attention.
Who gives the tiniest of shits about any of this stuff? This is only done to make Flat Earth about people and surveys and statistics about those people. When the first Flat Earth video came out, has that got anything to do how Earth gets measured? No. When the first Flat Earth conference was, has that got anything to do with how Earth gets measured? No. But it makes it about the people, doesn't it? Because then you can pour scorn and ridicule on the people and ignore how flat Earth is measured. That's the purpose of this shit.
I want to make one thing clear, though, is that I bet the majority of this traffic are people talking about it being stupid.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're one of them. A dumb fuck retard who stinks. I took a poll. Survey says you stink like shit. Must be true. Got a poll that says so. Yeah, that's the general consensus. The general consensus is AsmonGold's a dirty grebo. So it must be true, right, AsmonGold? Doesn't matter if you took a shower today or not. The consensus say you stink. So it must be true, right? But the traffic is absolutely unequivocally directed to people who say we are, with strawman fallacies and category errors, wrong. You're watching one of them right now. But what do you get from actual flat earthers? Well, you get demeaned. You get called stupid with examples of your stupidity, like your potato example for science, like your historic standard for Jesus being called science. What an idiot. But you won't find me in a hurry. You'll find Sabine, because that's what YouTube were told to do by Congress. Censor the flat earthers, that's me, and promote this shithead, that's Sabine. So yeah, I bet all the traffic's people talking about how idiots say Earth's flat and believe Earth's flat. Meanwhile, my name's Nathan Oakley. I'll tell you in no uncertain terms, not ask, not seek affirmation, not require your permission, but tell you how Earth is measured. It's flat.
Right? So we're thinking about, for example, the Flat Earth Conference where, Andrew from like Channel 5 was like interviewing people, right? So it's like this.
It's almost like when you hear the words flat, an aspect, and Earth, the surface that you're standing on, you think you need to get a Channel 5 news anchor to go and interview people. It's almost like you're demented. You'd think you'd go straight to the measurements, but you're too stupid to do that, aren't you? What's that, flat Earth? Quick, interview somebody! Idiot!
Goes up. Like, for example, I bet Hitler goes up around in April, right? Like, search.
Oh my God. So now it's whether or not we've got statistics on the searches for Hitler. No, this category is a mathematical category. Now, what we typically do, and had I not been paid to cover this shithead, stinky grebo retard, we'd be covering the normies who measure Earth flat. But when they're not told that they need to apologise for how ball-shaped it isn't when they measure Earth flat, they don't highlight that inconsistency with your ball belief. They just talk about how Earth gets measured flat for things like navigation, surveying, flying, anything that requires a measurement of Earth's surface. And what do you know? It's always measured flat. But what's that? You need to go and interview people at a conference? Yeah, that's what I'd expect from a retard. What's that? Flat Earth? Quick, get my mic, let's go interview people.
Searches for Hitler go up. Why is that?
Edited video. You could have edited it out yourself sounding like a spastic, but you chose to keep it in.
Because that's the year, or sorry, the month he was born in, right? And so like searches for a lot of things are going to go up, not necessarily because more people support them.
Good. Is that someone wanted to add something? No, clearly not.
But just simply because more people are talking about them or looking at them. Like a conversation about something does not necessarily mean that this is support of it. So I want to make
first thing he said that's true. Finally, I get to give you some props. Yeah, that's right. Whether or not people talk about flat Earth has no bearing on how Earth is measured. It's not supporting or decrying the reality in this particular instance. Whether Earth is measured flat would dictate whether or not it's flat. It is. That's how it's measured. How many people talk about it is irrelevant. It wouldn't matter if it was just me who knew that fact. It would still be measured flat. It doesn't matter if the percentages are really low, really high. Who cares? It's the first truthful statement he's made so far.
Make sure that you cannot control for critical discussion inside of an evaluation of a graph like this.
So, yeah, so the critical evaluations of the statistical graph.
And interest.
That's what the evaluation's for. His evaluation is of the statistics for how popular the YouTube searches for the subject are. Shouldn't you be searching for elevation profiles of Earth's surface, like how it's been measured? They're all flat. Shouldn't you be looking at how an aircraft negotiates the surface level, with its height measured off sea level, with its angle of attack up a couple of degrees, a flat Earth only measurement, with respect to horizontal? Shouldn't you look at those sorts of things? Nah. Look at how many searches on YouTube for the subject have been taking place. Yeah? Is that how you're going to gauge this subject? What an idiot. No. Yeah. If you want to figure out how much flour you put into a recipe to make a cake, you don't go and survey how many people are making cakes.
And you certainly
After
don't
that,
make a stupid
but rather
graph
than just fake.
Good.
Well, you certainly don't make a stupid graph that utilizes a flat plane to show how much people believe in a flat plane.
Eating away. In recent years, interest in flat Earth has been on the rise again.
It is, and the reason why is because a lot of
You have no idea why the subject is interesting, AsmonGold. Why are you about to launch into why people are more interested in the subject? You don't know.
people that believe in conspiracies.
Oh, really? No, I am not somebody who believes in conspiracies. I pour scorn on the clowns in my own subject arena who talk about 9/11 and JFK and Mandela effect. I think they're all idiots. This is a mathematical and geographical subject matter, and it's dealt with measurements. So no, your stereotyping fallacy fails like it failed for Sabine earlier. Now I get to call you a stereotype fallacy using moron, don't I, AsmonGold? I get to call you a clown, don't I? Why? Because you are, by example. I've just given it.
It's like trying to take a toy away from a dog if a dog's like biting a toy.
Really? So when I say Earth is measured flat for parallel eye level, surface level, sea level, altitudes, flight level, all of these things that are axiomatically requiring a surface level to measure, so that we don't crash into it in planes, that's comparable to dogs, is it? Really? No, I think you're a stupid shithead. That's what I think. I think you're using a false comparison fallacy. Like a moron. That's what I think. And I'm right.
You can't take the conspiracy away from them. You have to.
This is not a conspiracy that needs to be created in such a way that it seems that way, right? Get all the conspiracy dickheads furrowed down a narrow path towards flat Earth so that you can stereotype the subject matter based on what idiots talk about. It's not about what the idiots in the subject talk about. It's about the measurements. They're all flat. If you deny them, then you've got no reference to build a ball with. So, to summarise, Earth is measured flat, and without those flat Earth measurements, you don't get to believe you're on a ball. Hope that's clear.
To wait for them to let go of it on their own.
No, you need to let go of your stupid ball belief. It's based on flat Earth measurements. Projection.
And the more that you try to take it away from them...
Sorry, take sea level away from me, you complete fuckwit. You're going to take sea level away? What about flight level? Yeah? The planes that are flying over the surface level, measured from sea level, with altitudes perpendicular to a plane of reference, with the nose of the plane measured in a degree that can only be described from a flat plane, from the horizontal. You're going to tell me that you're going to take those away from me because they're all conspiracies? You're a fucking retard. You're not going to take any of this away from me. These are facts. Without them, people die. They'd crash their planes. Without them, we wouldn't have surveyed the land to give us the geographical distances in miles and kilometres, scaled on the maps we use. These aren't things that you, a dirty, stinky grebo, are going to take from me. They're facts of Earth measurement, you stupid clown.
The more people will believe it.
Sorry, am I believing in sea level? Am I believing in parallel flight level? When an air traffic controller tells a plane to ascend to a flight level, that's not a belief, you stupid moron!
I think obviously flat Earth is a good example, but another one is COVID. One of the reasons why people are so distrusting of the media...
I don't want to hear this. Anybody got anything to add on around out of the live show? Did you get your £100 worth?
They're really entertaining. There's a hell of a lot more you could react to, though.
I don't mind doing it again tomorrow.
Yeah, sound. Bring it on.
Yeah, we'll do the rest of it tomorrow. We've only got 7 minutes into a 30-minute video, so I don't mind doing it in a two-parter. We'll cover the rest of this tomorrow. Anybody got any comments this far?
Just to say it's a bit of a shame because he's more of a globe believer than an anti-flat earther, so we're being a bit harsh on him. And I do like AsmonGold, though, so it's good getting your name on his channel.
Yeah, and you've done a great 7 minutes so far. It's all been worthwhile. Nathan, excellent work. That would be my comment. Thank you.
Well, let me just pour scorn a little less on AsmonGold, right? In the pre-show, I was saying I was going to try and be gentle to you because it's not your fault. But when you're using stereotyping fallacies, it is your fault. You are the ones using these fallacies. So I will pour scorn on you. Now, is it your fault that you've been furrowed into a direction that makes you think that flat Earth is a belief based on the statistics that are presented to you by Sabine Hoslenfelder, with how many searches have been made on YouTube for a proofsy of how flat Earth is? I mean, that's idiotic if you actually stand back from what you're assessing. Well, that's your fault again. I can't help but say it. If you can't assess that how many searches are done on the subject isn't a proof of the geometry of the surface, if you can't assess that for yourself, then I'm right in calling you a clown. Now, I don't want to call you a clown. I like what you do generally too. I find you quite amusing. but I will. When you stereotype me. That's what I'll do. Now grow a pair of balls and respond to me. Let AsmonGold know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. Hopefully one of my mods will reissue the link to this video that we're covering today so that you can pop along and let him know that we've covered his video. Hopefully, as I say, AsmonGold would put a link to my video, helping me along in the YouTube algorithmic love that we definitely do not receive when we spit facts about how flat Earth is actually measured, in the face of idiots telling us that it's about YouTube search statistics. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
Things, but this video just randomly came up for me, and I thought it would have been a good one to cover.
I mean, it is fairly standard fare anti-flat Earth stuff, though, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest.
Didn't catch that. You broke up for me.
I said it's just fairly standard fare anti-flat Earth rhetoric, isn't it, that we've covered?
Yeah, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's just shown the normies that you're just looking at stereotypes and nonsense rather than the actual facts.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not teaching the listener, right, the would-be listener, how to measure that, are they? They're just slagging off flat Earth, that's it. Nothing else about globe. Ridiculous.
But the fact that they don't know how to measure. The fact they keep bringing up sticks and shadows, like I remember probably about 10 years ago, there's a channel called Vsauce, and he done a video about flat Earth, and he agreed that the sticks and shadows doesn't prove either way. That it could be relevant for a flat Earth or
it is.
All.
Yeah,
he's the only one that I saw that was honest about that.
Yeah, but that's wrong, isn't it? It only works on a flat Earth.
Exactly, Nathan.
Len, when was this video made by Asmon?
I think this was a year ago.
Yeah, Nathan, you've already covered that. I'm not sure if you're aware. It doesn't matter.
But it's more so his take on this and like the Joe Normie's take on one of her videos.
Yeah, I remember doing this about a year ago. I thought it was about 18 months. There you go. That's how quickly time flies.
But in the last year, our rhetoric's changed, so I'm happy to cover it again.
Yeah, and it was a very long video, and we didn't get a third of the way through it last time either.
You could easily play the video 1.25 times and it's still easily follow what they're going on about.
We'll see if we can get to the end of it tomorrow.
Yeah, I tend to do that, Len, for any video over or about an hour mark. And I can usually listen to it in about half that time.
But yeah, thank you, Nathan. I've thoroughly enjoyed today's show, and I look forward to the rest.
Jolly good.
Yeah, you are firing on all cylinders, and like I said, they deserve what you dished out.
Well, let's hope that people, send polite comments and he finds his way here. Well, some of them do. How many subscribers does he have? 4 million, 3 million?
Millions.
My 15-year-old came over and said, "Why are you covering that guy? He eats bugs." And I said, "I don't know. Does he eat bugs?"
No, the cockroaches were seen on his live stream before. Like, the guy's stinking rich, but he doesn't give a fuck.
I mean, they're a high source of protein.
Nathan called him a dirty grebo. It was quite funny.
What's a grebo?
No, a grebo is.
Never heard
I
of it.
think one of your sons is a grebo, Neil.
What is it?
It's someone who listens to metal music, and is usually quite a bit unkempt.
No, he's pretty much, he keeps himself clean, but he does listen to that metal, that growling. Says it's Christian music. Praise the Lord.
It's all right. We all have a Grubo in the family.
He listens to a group called Demon Hunter, and he says they're Christian. And I put it on, and I say, my wife,
I love Demon Hunter.
yeah, my wife says, this can't be Christian. I said,
Demon
what do you
Hunter a
mean?
lot.
Can't you hear them praising God?
Christian death metal.
Yeah, he's got a good voice when he sings.
Yeah, every album has at least one or two kind of like what do they call those things when metal bands slow it down, like not medleys. There's a word for it.
Harmonized. They got
Ballad,
harmony.
like a ballad.
Well, here's the thing. Now he's annoyed because there's a
Not a jingle. It's not called a jingle, is it? Jingle.
No. Now there's a thing that he's upset because there's a cartoon named Demon Hunter. Oh, man, when you got a cartoon.
Yeah,
it's the same name.
So, grebo, slang. In the UK, particularly in the Midlands, the term was used in the late 80s and 90s as a slang term for a person in an alternative subculture, often associated with rock or heavy metal music. They were typically described as having long, unkempt hair and wearing casual, sometimes dishevelled clothes like baggy jeans or band hoodies. The term originated as a derivative of greaser or biker and was popularised by bands like Pop Will Eat Itself and The Wonder Stuff.
He's got long hair, my son. Looks like Jesus.
So Kurt Cobain.
For liking pop.
Modern equivalent.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain's the typical grebo.
I'm a kind of hybrid grebo these days. I've got a cross between a mohawk and a mullet.
So was that what he meant when he said, when the light's out, it's less dangerous because you won't be able to see that grebo ass?
Yes.
How did this conversation fall apart so quickly?
No, well, I just wonder about because you can't go. You're going to need a flat plane of reference for that.
Yeah, let's talk about ice walls. Why not?
Anyway, I was annoyed because he says we deny physics, but they don't know what physics is because they got water bending around a globe.
Not really. They utilize like Newtonian mechanics, which they would call classical physics, utilizes an inertial plane to assert that there's a force. It's only applicable on an inertial plane. And then you got the relativity, which utilizes a non-inertial upwards rising flat plane to describe all this phenomena from. I don't know why he would say that there's not a flat earth in that.
Because they're ignorant to the measurements. It's going to take time for them to even comprehend it. Look how long it took us to recognize it. Can't deny that. We whistled right past it. And so are they. Now we can bring it to their attention. We can put comments in their videos like some people are doing. And perhaps they'll come to an understanding of how measurements prove that Earth is flat and it cannot be a sphere.
Yeah,
but
I don't think we whistled. And Neil, I don't think we whistled past it.
We did, Jim.
No, hang on, let me explain. To whistle past something would mean that you see it there and you ignore it. That means you recognize it, you registered it, but you're ignoring it. That's what whistling past means. It means you're denying what's there. We didn't know that.
You're not paying attention to it. We weren't paying attention to what they were saying.
Yeah, that's not us whistling
Can I
past
read
that.
something?
No, that's
We
not what
did.
full whistling past is.
Then we would have been bringing up measurements in 2015.
Yeah, that doesn't mean we were whistling past
2017.
it, though, were we?
Well,
We weren't whistling past
change the verbiage. We weren't paying attention to it.
Yeah, that's
We were
better.
going
Yeah,
right
we missed
past it and looking
Yeah.
for curvature because
Yeah.
that's how they ordained it.
I can give it to you even better than that. Stanley Kubrick's title, Eyes Wide Shut. That's exactly what I mean. Eyes wide shut. It was there, but we didn't see it. It was there, but we didn't see it. It was there, but we didn't see it. That's what it says. Eyes wide shut. We weren't whistling past. That's a different situation when you whistle past something.
No, you whistle past the graveyard. You're not paying attention to it. You whistle right by it. You're not focusing on it. One day you're going to be in there.
Yeah, but you know it's there, though. The thing is, you know it's there, though. But with
So
yeah.
when they were using the Earth curve calculator and somebody pointed at sea level and they all laughed, flat earthers and globers, was that whistling past or?
That's called not seeing the wood for the trees.
Correct. So different verbiage. We didn't whistle past it. We just didn't recognize it.
Yeah,
but it took time.
I think even when they know, they have to tell us that they don't understand. I'm going to read something really fast. It's just a comment to what I've been talking about. He said, incorrect. You use the Earth as a sphere for a lot of things, navigation, for example. That horizontal is not parallel and cannot extend anywhere in the world. You can't even extend it by a mile without remeasuring it. When you establish a horizontal flat baseline, the surface of Earth always drops away from it with distance every time. If it was flat, it wouldn't drop away. Sorry, you have zero measurements that show the Earth's surface remains parallel to a horizontal baseline. If you did, you'd post them. And then I said, hold on one second. Can I talk? I said, so you're imagining first what you'll use flat measurements for. Or as I put it, measure flat, calculate imaginary ball. So I feel you. Looks like we are going for navigation now. We just had a presentation on that last week. Our man 10th just hammering AI about how it too can never get off the horizontal, the level. And to measure for that, we'll go by sea level, a set of flat measurements averaged out and set at 0 degree and still flat. You'll be at horizontal using that as parallel level, such as eye level or surface level. So you can keep asking for measurements, and that's kind of funny to anyone who knows that you'll need a flat Earth for any measurements you can take. And then the way you ask, as if you're ignorant, makes me think that you already know that you're always and still at flat too. And then I just decided to just drop the channel because I think that he knows. And I think that he'd be here telling us how he knew otherwise if he didn't.
I think he's confused. I think he's talking about if he was on a ball, they would be dropping away.
He's claiming to have measurements of that drop. Level dropping away from level.
I mean, it's just auto deny. We remind them that, yes, it's going to be from horizontal. Yes, that's 0 degrees. Yes, that's level, and it's plane, and it's flat, and it's just automatic nuh-uh. And by this point, that is enough to show a lot of people around them, if nothing else, that they are being willfully ignorant. They're straight up lying.
Your men's statement was the best when you said you need a flat plane to measure anything, which is correct.
Yeah, and you're right. Mean sea level is the 0 degree baseline for all elevation profiles on Earth.
You mean mean sea level?
Yeah, sorry, mate. I mean sea level.
I think he means
He actually means the horizontal constant. That's what he actually means. Yes, that means sea level, that horizontal constant.
I'm going to start saying constant category error because that's what everybody seems to be in.
I like calling them maths and geography deniers.
Yeah, geography deniers, that's a fact. They are. But they're constantly in a category error.
I'm just saying it's super easy to understand and it's super easy to show. And we're dealing with.
I'll tell you what we do, mate. Narcissists we deal with, mate. Narcissists.
Who just need to make us wrong. Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, narcissist is a good thought. But I'm just saying, let's not focus on them. Let's focus on people who would understand.
I gave up. I ain't focusing on anybody anymore. I tell you it's measured flat. Go figure it out. You're going to deny that. You're going to put yourself in a rock and a hard place. I can't help you, buddy. Moving on.
Yeah.
You had the Viking and this Rebecca arguing all weekend over freaking elevation angles, triangles. Are you kidding me? This is what it's become?
They desperately.
Because the only thing they got is not.
No. The two flatties arguing about a triangle.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about three angles. They can't even get one.
They agree that the baseline is flat and the baseline is Earth and it can extend for thousands of miles. End it there. That's it. It's flat Earth debate, not trigonometry debate. That's in a math form. This is a flat Earth debate, although it's not a debate because measurements are not debatable. Just facts.
Well, I just needed this confirmation that can we not use the word empirical outside the context of science and the scientific method?
Why? Measurements are empirical, aren't they? If I measure something and it's 12 by 12,
exactly, that's what I mean. That measurements would be empirical, right? Even if you go by those few keywords that observable, testable, falsifiable, repeatable, measurements do follow all of those points, don't they?
No.
How so, John?
Falsifiable.
If I tell you that this stick in front of me is 3 feet, I give you a measurement and you measure it yourself and find it to be 2.5 feet. You just falsified me and my measurement.
No, what is John saying? John, what'd you say?
Falsifiable is to hold up and have two outcomes, right? Like a positive and a negative, and one be rendered false. So you like what's the cause of water boiling, right? You say heat. Well, I can cause water to boil with heat, or I cannot cause water to boil with heat. There is your falsifiability. Now show me that in measurement.
You can't. It's not a measurement.
Well, it's a measurement of temperature, isn't it? A measurement of temperature, because you can have a water boil in a vacuum at 37 degrees Celsius in a vacuum, boiling water.
No, that's not what he's talking about. He's saying, show me the falsifiable nature of measurement. There is none. You measure something, it is what it is.
Well, yeah, measurement according to linear distances, but if you're talking about temperature, you can falsify it right there. Water, heat's not necessary. A vacuum is good enough.
It's still heat.
Yeah, there's still heat there. You just changed the temperature at which it will boil.
Yeah, less heat.
You didn't change
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
heat is still necessary.
So you've got a pressure temperature relationship in that instance.
So, John, you were saying that measurements are not falsifiable, correct?
They just are what they are.
Thank you.
So they're not empirical in that nature.
Right, because one of the what's the word I'm looking for? One of the criteria for for empirical is falsifiable, right?
Right. And I don't know how you falsify an inch. That doesn't
Okay,
even make sense to say it.
So then we can't say that measurements are empirical. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so, yeah.
But they don't have to be empirical. They're measurements. A measurement is a measurement. We're not talking about the scientific method here.
Right. That's what I'm having trouble with. Like, why are we even trying to use that terminology specific to science in this category? I feel like we're trying to invite a category error when we do that.
I don't think willingly. I think, would just, I wouldn't put it in empirical. I'd just say a measurement is a measurement. That's it. If I tell you what a measurement is, there's no debating it.
But it's irrefutable, isn't it? Irrefutable.
Right. Irrefutable is a better word.
Yeah, that's a good word. They are irrefutable.
Because I agree, when you put the word empirical in, they're going to take you right to science, and they'll start accusing us of being in a category error.
You call us science deniers. We're denying that it is science.
Well, in that aspect, they're right. We do deny that looking into what Earth is not a scientific endeavor. Projection, really.
Empirical cannot be used outside the context of scientific method, in short.
I can't think of anything else that is empirical besides the scientific method. Can you?
Because I just made a quick search on dictionary.com, and the second definition that it gives is very peculiar. You'll be surprised. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, of course.
So, depending upon experience or observation alone without using scientific method or theory, and hence sometimes insufficiently authoritative, especially as in medicine.
That's empirical? No, that contradicts empirical.
And the first meaning is also similar, but it makes a distinction between the word experience and experiment, derived from or guided by direct experience or by experiment. This is the general definition.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So measurements would be direct experience. We measure physical things, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. But that's geography now. We're talking about measuring Earth.
No.
Eli.
Already.
You're not coming in clear.
I can hear him having a piss.
Well, that's pretty clear.
He's just dropping the kids off.
Could be raining. Could be standing by a fountain.
I thought that was me. I was flushing the toilet as he was doing that.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz.
Oops, I was on mute. I think I'm justified in my outrage that Sabine has decided to take it upon herself to describe what flat earthers think and feel.
Absolutely.
It's an outrage, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, double barrel, both of them. She got them both. Deserved it, deservedly so. Thank you, Nathan. Excellent work today. Loved every minute of it. Every minute of it.
Yeah, but as this video's a year old, she might have changed her views by now. She could be a flat earth for we know, but we're not allowed to cover on flat earths anymore. No, Neil, we're not allowed to cover on flat earths anymore, so we'll never know.
Well, I agree with Nathan. I mean, why are you going to a ball? Like, if I want to know about the ball, I'm going to go to a baller. I'm not going to go to a flat earther. Although I might be better off going to a flat earther. They know more about it than ballers do.
It's like saying all Spanish people think and behave in this way. Now let's go over to this Italian and ask him to describe how Spanish people think.
Oh, it's kind of similar, but I understand what you mean.
I think like what Nathan was saying, I mean, you got paid for this one, Nathan, so that was good. But I think everyone wants to do including myself, if you ever want to do one. I think Nathan just wants you to sort of step in a bit more and with more of the critique rather than himself getting wound up and angry.
Let's do that tomorrow then, with AsmonGold's video.
Yeah, but today, Nathan, you didn't miss a point at all. Every second they said something wrong, you covered everything. You didn't miss a thing. That was clean, man. That was good. Brilliant takedown. Brilliant.
But usually if you're presenting a video, I usually have a quick flick through the ones I've given Nathan recently with the normies. So I've sort of got an idea what's going to be said so you can know when you can respond to things or say something. And I presume that's what everybody would do when they're going to suggest a video.
Hopefully so.
There's certain times when you know it's not even worth trying to get in because Nathan's got his freaking teeth on that bone and he's going to clean it.
Yeah. There's nothing we can say. He's covered everything there. It was brilliant. That's all I'm going to say. It was definitely. I'm glad I was here for that session because when I saw that video last week when Liam dropped it, I was just blown. I was absolutely angry. Okay. So you covered it brilliantly.
And sorry to say, Nathan, but there's still a lot of people that like when you respond that way. They like it.
Yeah, I get that. I'm a reflection of the anger that people feel towards the stereotyping fallacies, the baseless assertions, and the misrepresentations, the straw men. When people hear that stuff being presented, they want to shout at the screen, and I'm metaphorically doing it on their behalf. So I totally get it.
Absolutely. You hit it right in the head. Because that when I put that on, I was immediately angered.
Yeah.
Last week I put it on. I was like, yeah, Nathan's got to go over this because I'm pissed off already 30 seconds in.
And the fact that you did it on the fly, Nathan, you're doing it on the fly, but you never saw the video.
Well,
you're doing it on the fly.
I covered it a year ago. I have seen it.
Oh,
anyway,
really?
right
I didn't realize that. Okay, so you have seen it then. Okay.
Yeah, but you don't remember. Come on.
Yeah,
you remember that video?
Well, seeing the original take without AsmonGold's critique or extra input.
AsmonGold is just a spare one. A spare tire with a puncture in it. That's all he is. You see, a spare tire with a puncture in it is of no use. That's all he is.
He's a very, very popular and influential YouTuber at the moment. And everyone's just like taking on his opinions rather than facts.
Yeah, I was also going to speak to that effect that these popular YouTubers these days, they have their certain cool kind of a style on YouTube, which is why he was going sarcastic in many of the parts of the video, which is why if you want an unsolicited advice for the next part of it, I would like you to play rather full sentences, because this guy is very cheeky. He's being sarcastic, and you may miss it. I understand that in many parts when you went on about the scientific method, it was important for the audience. Vandek just mentioned that. But in certain cases, he was just being sarcastic, where your response to it, thinking that he's actually saying it, was not very appropriate, I would say.
Yeah, but when she was talking about space and he was saying, yeah, fake, you know, he was accusing us of being wrong when we say that space is fake, you know, that's fake, this is fake, science fake. And Nathan picked him up on that as well and slammed him down again on the floor. Yeah, man, that guy deserved everything he got on that 7 minutes. Couldn't have packed any more in. It was full to the brim.
I know what Arthur means, though. I'm not critiquing Nathan, but what I think we've mentioned before, I think sometimes you do need to just listen to them a little bit more. Sometimes you're only getting 2 or 3 words in, and we sort of know what we're going to say, and then we're critiquing them for a word rather than the full sentence. I think it's nice to hear the nonsense waffle a little bit longer sometimes, just personally.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I see what you mean there. Yeah, sorry, I see what you mean there. I'd seen the video complete anyway last week, so I knew where it was coming from by this time. But yeah, I know what you mean. I agree.
I thought it was fine. If he was getting too sweary and too angry, then maybe we step in, ease it up a little bit. But I thought he was fine.
This was perfect. This was Nathan on his game. Couldn't lose. I loved it every second. Like I said, every second.
But don't forget, Nathan's not done. He's not been doing him continuously. So, like we said, every now and again, he's great. I think for Nathan, you just know what triangles is the one, mate. Triangles gets him.
Yeah, this guy deserves it as much as Twangles get it. He got the same. So if you get into Nathan's crosshairs, it's all over for you. Good night. Forget it. Your career will be over.
Actually,
moving forward with the video. Sorry, continue.
I was just going to say I had a dissection of one of Twangles McKeegan's videos from Craig when I was out having a curry with him the other night, and he's explaining that he's covering where we cover the elevation profiles and suggested that because you can log RPM on a flat graph, that somehow that false comparison will fly with a flat Earth measurement of elevation with respect to surface level and sea level. Like, okay. So false analogy is what they've gone to in that instance, but I didn't cover it. I had Craig cover it for me and explain to me, and I'm like, basically what McKeegan's got to do is lie. That's what he's got to do. Misrepresent and lie.
That's the same video that I keep referring to when he shows the elevation, horizontal constant elevation profile, and he says it's just easier to do it horizontally. It's just easier that way. I bet it is, Dave.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to 10th man. I know he's not here today, unless he's in the flip side. But yeah, well done, 10th man. Great stuff last week. Absolute marvelous stuff. Sorry you're not here today.
Yeah, he went under the knife. He had a hernia operation, so he's probably recovering.
I know what that's like. You can't cough. You can't sit up. You can't sneeze. Everything hurts.
Let's hope he makes a full recovery, quick, sharp.
Yeah, let's hope he makes a good full 100% recovery, and then occasionally do some, sit-ups. And once he's fully recovered, abdominal exercises, keeps that midsection nice and tight, so you don't have that ever happen again.
Once you get that mesh put in, it's stronger than ever. I had it done.
Well, that's good. Like in the $6 Million Man, they can rebuild you.
Yes, they have the technology. Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Steve Aston. Steve Austin. Aston. Man barely alive.
Yeah.
The best one was when he fought Bigfoot. Remember the Bigfoot episode?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
I just like Jin doing the 1970s sound effects. We all know what it means too, don't we? We're all so old.
Exactly.
It was my favorite show.
It was definitely my favorite show until he met $7 Million Man and he lost. Oh, he got battered. You know, Steve Austin got beaten up by the $7 Million Man.
Then you had the Bionic Woman.
Yeah. You had the Bionic Woman, and then you had the guy that said, "Don't get me angry because you won't like me when I'm angry."
Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby.
Yeah, that was a good one. And Lou Ferrigno was the Hulk.
How did Peter Pan go the other day, Nathan? I remember years ago listening to Jordan Peterson describe the idea behind Peter Pan and what he represents. And it's quite dark. I'm not sure if you're aware.
No, I wasn't. Give us a vague idea.
Peter Pan represents the boy who never grows up. Pan means all. So he's full of potential, but he never fulfills a potential.
Okay.
And there's a scene where at the end, I can't quite remember, as I said, it was years ago, and I haven't seen it when I was a kid. Do you know the story?
Do I know the story of Peter Pan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes a choice at the end, and what's his choice? Does he not go with the woman to become a man? He chooses to remain with the fairy or something like that?
Yeah, he stays in Neverland.
Yeah, that's it. He chooses not to take on the responsibility of becoming a man. Chooses to remain a boy forever.
Yeah, but look at the world we live in at the moment. Yeah, it's a right mess. Maybe he was better off where he was. Because look at it today.
What, he'll end up on paying his wife, what's it called, child support for the next 15 years.
There you go. Look at the mess we're in. Come on.
The thing I like about pantomime specifically is that it has a free rein to poke fun at very specific elements of current society. So the politically correct agenda of late being about men and women, and I'm tempering my own words because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, but I'll explain what they did. So typically, Peter Pan in pantomime is normally played by a girl, right? And the Lost Boys are all played by girls. That's how pantomime typically deals with those characters, right? But in this particular pantomime, the only thing that I could fault for being overly politically correct was they changed Lost Boys to Lost Children. It's just, there was no need for the alteration, right? But another creative change that they made to keep it in line with pantomime was they made Peter Pan a guy and they made Captain Hook a girl. So Captain Hook is a character that's female in the pantomime, but played by a man. So it's a guy in drag playing a character that's a girl that's been changed from a character that was a guy. So that kind of flip-flopping inversion I thought was just quite cleverly done by this particular pantomime. I thought that's a good way to spin on it, right? If we're going to change a character from being a guy to a girl, why not make it Hook and then have a guy play a girl in drag? Why not?
Yeah, did they have the performers flying in the air and that? Did they have all that going?
Yeah, they had all that.
Oh, yeah, their kids were well and truly delighted with that then. Your children, yeah?
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, but also what happened to the days of, here's a character, here's a guy who looks vaguely like the character, so we'll make that person the character, rather than all this changing around and mishmashing. Just confuses it for me.
Are they still knocking out? Sorry, I was going to say, are they still knocking out Oliver Twist as well as a pantomime? Oliver Twist, did they do that one?
Yeah, Oliver Twist still gets made into a pantomime. Go on, John.
All right.
I was going to say, you're assuming Captain Hook's gender all of this. We're going to have to shut you down and cancel you now.
Well, there you go. See, it makes so much sense to cast him as a woman, played by a man.
Nah, he's got to be a man if Captain Hook. It hooks, right? Hooks to the left.
And it's sometimes easier to stay in Never Never Land because you don't have to face any truth then or deal with any facts or measurements, do you? You just live your life in a little bubble. Sound familiar?
Yeah, but if you're on the ocean, you're utilizing Earth as the horizontal constant path. Did they have a crocodile in the pantomime? A crocodile as well?
No, so that's the only thing they left out, and I think it's just because it was for young kids. So at the end, they have a sword fight, and Hook just goes overboard, and I'm like, "Where's the crocodile? Why isn't he being eaten?" It got a mention in terms of the Hook, passing mention at the beginning, but it doesn't get mentioned at the end. It's supposed to be the same crocodile that eats him.
That would be too close to reality. Shouldn't you put a bit of trust in your audience, in the intelligence of your audience, that they can emotionally handle a crocodile eating a baddie in this case?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, they didn't.
Yeah, I had to. My wife had to print all that sort of stuff out. Like, it's behind you.
Yes,
Oh no, they
did.
didn't. All that sort of stuff, because my kids
yes,
have never
they
been to a
did.
pantomime, so she printed all of those out so they could get familiar with how it all works.
So did they chime in when they had to then?
Yeah, it's behind you.
Brilliant.
My eldest daughter really enjoyed it. She said it's the best pantomime she's ever seen. My wife said it's the first one you've ever seen.
And where was it happening at? What venue?
Spa Centre in my town. There's a theatre.
Okay. Right. And the performers were local people doing this or famous?
No, there was nobody famous. Or if they were, I was unaware.
Ah, brilliant.
Is it like a little? I remember taking my kids when they was younger to do like a little theatre, but it was really good. It was like a big venue. It was called a little. It was actually called the Little Theatre, and I used to take them there to watch things like. I always remember going to see Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. That was really good.
That's what I think a lot of them were called. So one of my first jobs in that arena as a sound technician was in Hall Green Little Theatre. Now, was it a little theatre? No. It had 2 studios and a massive stage. So it definitely wasn't little, but it was just called Hall Green Little Theatre. But it wasn't, like I say, very little. In this particular instance, the Spa Centre's like a proper decent-sized venue. It's like a big stage, and it's got 3 tiers of seating, and it's big. What I noted, nothing to do with the play, but we went with homeschool kids. Now, although I was semi-aware of how many there were there because we were kind of lining up when we went in, you don't know for certain. But there's all these other school kids there, and they call them out, like, to have some audience participation. They're like, shout out to Her Lady of Compassion Catholic School, and all the kids go, hey! And then they went, and shout out to Leamington Home Education. And a whole section of the theatre went, yay! And it was all of the homeschool kids. I'm like, wow. I mean, I knew that there was a fair amount of them, but for there to be just kids that were homeschooled all in one place at the same time, there was obviously going to be others that weren't there that didn't buy theatre tickets that night. But there was enough to have a whole section of the theatre taken up by the Leamington Home Education group. And it was, I mean, it would have been, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 kids, like the size of a classroom at least, like a normal school-sized classroom.
Told you, there's more homeschool people than you think.
Yeah, I was shocked. That's exactly the sentiment. There was more homeschool people than I thought. I'm like, bloody hell, there's enough of them to get the reaction from from the performers when they're like, shout out to Leamington homeschoolers. Yay! I'm like, oh my God, there's loads of us. I said to my wife at the beginning, when they're all shouting, I'm like, strictly speaking, we're teachers, right? You know what that means? It means if we want, we can stand up, turn around, and that's to say, looking away from the stage at all the kids in their seat, and you can just fold your arms and glare at children. So you're allowed, you're strictly speaking a teacher.
I can imagine that. Yeah. Is that Leamington, as in Leamington Spa?
Royal
Royal
Leamington Spa.
Ah, right. Royal Leamington Spa. Okay.
That's correct.
May I ask, in the context of pantomime, would the globe Earth be a pantomime of flat Earth measurements?
No. So the whole pantomime aspect is a throwback to where back in the day women weren't allowed to do that sort of work, full stop. So hence you ended up with men playing women. Well, pantomime's kind of leaning into that kind of vibe. Hence you've got a transsexual Captain Hook.
Right, so a role that's male played by a transsexual female?
Other way around, but yeah, kind of. So back in the day, actors were men. Well, what does that mean if you've got a woman in the cast that you need to play? Well, a man will play her. Probably do a better job.
So back in the day, the Earth was a plane of reference.
Yeah. Still is, though.
It still is, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't actually change how the story is told or the roles are played out.
Oh, they pantomimed it into a globe.
Yeah, just hold on a second. In Japan, it's the same story. That all actors were men. Even the women in Japan weren't allowed to do that as well. Right down to the geisha, they were men. Women were not allowed to play any. It's only in recent years have they been allowed into the industry properly now.
Yeah, exactly.
When did they institute the word actress? Because back in the day, it was just actor, and it was male or female.
No, that's a throwback from there not being a necessity to have a description of a female version. You just had actors, men, because that's what they were. They were all men.
Yeah, and they were just acting the part of whatever that part was.
Yeah, sometimes you'd have to act as a woman.
I'm saying when you refer, an actor could be a male or a female now.
Yeah, in these politically correct times, it's not unreasonable that women would want to act.
She's an actor in a play, and she plays Belinda. But they're called actors.
No, actresses.
Well, when did that get put in?
I don't know.
I'm going to find out.
But the term is now universal. So the term actor, you can be a female actor. It's a universal term. You do have actors and actresses, but ultimately, if you say actor, it's neutral, gender neutral. It can be used for either.
The plane of reference is universal.
The plane of reference is also gender neutral.
It's horizontal constant.
No, but it is universal.
What's the word universal mean?
Suitable for all.
I think they make films.
What's PG stand for?
Parental guidance?
Tips.
That's correct.
What does X stand for then?
Sexy AF.
Extreme. Yeah.
And R stands for restricted? G?
What about GP? What does GP stand for?
Geographic
Guidance.
position.
General practitioner.
Glow position.
That's all they've done, though. They've taken
See
words
that?
like ground position that are universally accepted as being in requirement of a flat Earth and just changed the title. It's like, by using a universal transverse Mercator, does that make the world globe-shaped? No. By describing the positioning system as global, does that mean that it's global? No. But if you just change the word, oh, well, it's just the globe position, isn't it? What do you mean globe position? Well, it's to a point on a reference plane tangential to a dingleberry. So it's a globe point.
Well, I went into Gem Pandas this weekend and I asked for measurements. and they gave me geodetic surveying.
That's surveying. They survey flat.
Correct. So even in their proof, they can't get away from it being flat, but they're not comprehending it.
It's just surveying, right? You realise that?
Yeah, they just put the word geoid, geodetic.
Yeah, it's just surveying.
That's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like adding on global to a system that uses a Cartesian flat plane. So you're like, oh, it's the global positioning system. Well, it's the geoid desic surveying. You're like, what the fuck are you on about?
Exactly, Nathan. You hit it perfect. Exactly. That's what they're doing. So they said, we want to talk to flat earthers. And I said, wait a second. I came here to talk about the ball. Why do you want to talk about flat earth? They said, well, we know everything about the ball. We want to speak to flat earthers. I said, well, the door's always open. Why are you all together here? Why are you not talking about the globe? When flat earthers get together, that's all we talk about. It's how Earth is measured flat.
But they are flat earthers themselves. They just, they're either in denial or they just don't realise it.
And how did that go down? Well, Neil, really well.
Yeah. Jem never gives me a hard time. He always makes room for me. Nobody interrupts me, and if they do, Jen straightens them out. But
well, you're a celebrity.
So what's the view on?
I said you're a celebrity, Neil. They have to.
With me, it's the opposite. They interrupt, try to overtalk me, but they never win because I totally drowned them and I hit them with the facts. I did the Earth is measured flat, utilized flat. And they said, you're sounding like Nathan Oakley. I said, well, Nathan Oakley didn't get it wrong, did he? Did he get it wrong, did he? All right, then. So it's measured flat. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Look out for the horizontal constant. I just hit them with everything, man. And then I hit them with the Stanley Kubrick's connection to the moon landing and everything. I hammered them for about an hour. Yeah, I loved it.
Well, I felt like I'd been doing a little introspection on myself. Is that the proper word? And at times, I had said some things about Jen that were not nice. And I just apologized to him for that. And I didn't know that he was so influential or was part of the reason why you started the show. So he gave me a little history on that, too. He said
did you bring up that I'd recently told you about that then? He was like, oh, yeah, and confirmed it, etc. Obviously, he's not going to say, no, it didn't happen that way, because it did.
No, he didn't think he was that influential.
Yeah.
He said, I remember we talked about debates, and he said that he had said to you that he missed those debate forums. And that's what led to you starting your show.
That's a lack of introspection on Jem's part. He's literally describing his participation in the forming of the show. That is literally what he's discussing when he describes that. He's like, maybe he's just modest, but, it's like, well, no, I literally approached him to ask his opinion on it.
Yeah, he agreed with that. But he's a good guy, Jem. He's just, I should never have said the things I said. When I was thinking back, I remembered one of the shows. I just kept saying it, and it's not nice. It's not becoming a Christian to say things like that.
Yeah, well, I've never apologized to him for insulting because he insults me. In fact, when I first went in there, the very first day I went in there, I got insulted.
That's different. I made fun of his physical appearance and his disability. That's not, they shouldn't do things like that. Christian don't do that.
Yeah, that's right. No, well, I've never done that. Although he tried to accuse me of doing that. And I said, no, I didn't. And there was one time I was actually trying to talk to him about his disability. And had he looked into acupuncture and massage, and then he started shouting and flying off the handle. He goes, look, I'm trying to offer you some advice. Yeah, but you're going on like you know everything, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to help you. I just wanted to know whether you had tried that. That's all. And then he booted me off the server. But everybody told him.
I don't blame him. What? I would. You got to put yourself in his shoes.
Look,
You're putting
I
the
put
spotlight
myself
on
in
his
his shoes.
disability.
I put myself in his shoes. I was offering him an alternative because he was complaining that he was going down. It wasn't getting better. So have you tried this? Come on, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's different. If you say
Thank
it
you.
was in that manner, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Fine,
exactly
but I
what I
know
was
my
doing.
daughter, my daughter has a daughter, my granddaughter has autism. And if you try to like give any like help or advice, she gets very defensive. So that might be the reason. I don't know.
You're a great granddad, Neil?
Yes, I'm a grandfather to 5, I think.
No, grandfather's understandable. I mean, I didn't know you was a great grandfather.
I'm not a great grandfather.
You said your granddaughter has a you said your granddaughter has a child.
No,
You said
I
that?
said my daughter.
Oh, okay,
And then
gotcha.
I said my granddaughter.
Right, your granddaughter has a child.
No, my granddaughter's
Okay.
freaking 7.
That's what I
They
misconstrued.
better not
Okay.
have a child.
It's impossible.
But I'm sure you're a great grand anyway, mate. I'm sure you're really great at it.
Although I feel like a great grandfather.
Hold up now. Really, in some life, some 60 years old, okay. 40-year-old daughter. She had a child at 20. You could be a great grandfather if you had if your daughter had started early, like maybe 21, and had a child. You can have, and that child had a child at 20, early 20s. You could be a great granddad.
What was really weird was I was dating this girl, Charlene, one time, and she introduced me to her aunt, and her aunt was younger than her. That's weird.
Was she better looking?
I think that's because
Absolutely. Her Gina she was like, Charlene was very prudy. Like, I mean, it was effort to do anything. And her niece she was game. She was, yeah. So I started chasing a niece.
that could happen with late people, like maybe her sibling started late. Or her auntie might have had a child like in the late 30s, which made her. There's a way. It's a way that it happens. I've seen it often. It's usually one of the adults of that teenage or that older nephew or niece, something like that.
They were only a year apart. They were only a year or two apart. So
Right.
after, her daughter, I guess Charlene's mother, her daughter had a child, and then her mother had another child. So now the daughter has a child, and now she has a sister again. So that's how it happens. I was dating this one lady, Gloria, when I first got home from prison. It was weird because my mother's name was Gloria, and I just couldn't get past it. But she was pretty, right? So I go home with her, and she showed me pictures of her family. And she had like a 19-year-old daughter that was smoking hot. And then a 19-year-old daughter comes home. And I was like, I see where this relationship is going. In my mind, I'm saying all of this. I got to get out of this one because I'm going to be chasing a daughter.
Just back on Flat Earth, though. It's funny it was quite telling. Had a bit of to and fro with triangles on texting, and I 8 times I asked him for his so-called Earth curve measurements, which he was just not responding, just totally going on to another topic. And in the end, he said, "Hang on." In the end, he texted me back. He went, you just want me to tell you about the sticks and shadows and how Eratosthenes measured the Earth, just so you can say, welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, that's correct.
Without telling that.
Well, yeah, that's right. So what a measurement that Dave relies on we'll have him be welcome to flat. Yes, correct. You dumbass. Meanwhile, keep count, right? If you keep having to ask him about, what was it you said that you asked him 8 times?
8 times for his globe measurement, if he's got one. 8 times it was.
Yeah. I mean, if he comes up with something like the Earth curve calculator, again, you'll be welcoming him to flat Earth. But the reality is he hasn't got any. But keep asking, keep a tally of it. Because like with conspiracy cats, when it got to about 100 times, that's when he came out with his, well, I'll give you a flat Earth for that perspective. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right? So just it keeps the pressure on if you keep a track of the actual number of times you've asked.
Well, I do it because you do it. I probably got it off you listening to you, and I think you're amazing at it. No, but Nathan's great because but listen, Neil. Even though Nathan just keeps count of it, like, I was looking back a bit and thinking it's approximate. I wanted to be correct, so I made sure I was correct. But Nathan's like, it's 13 times I've asked you now, just off the top of his head. But I thought it was very telling. That was my reply to Dave. It's very telling how you're dodging your so-called Earth measurement, and you're just admitting to me that you know what I'm going to say. It's a flat Earth measurement, and that's why you don't want to give it.
He admitted.
Very telling.
He admitted to that.
Yeah, it's very telling. What does it mean? It means these clowns know it's flat, don't they? And
correct. Yes. Correct.
That's right. They're whistling past Neil. Neil, now you can say they're whistling past, especially him. That Nathan McKeegan.
No, they're not whistling past. They're outright denying, but they know.
Yeah, but they're whistling past. That's what they're doing now. They're whistling past, even though they know it.
You're going to make me look this up now. Good.
Well, he knows for a fact. I'm just going to say he measured angles on the surface of Earth, measured elevation angles. And it's not a curve measurement, it's a flat Earth measurement. He knows that, and that's why he couldn't say it, because he's admitting Earth is measured flat. So rather than give me the measurement, he's off on bloody elevation. He wants to talk about triangle. What they do, they just divert to other nonsense, trying to get you off the topic, but I kept pulling him back in.
Yeah, he was trying to talk to you about the breakfast he didn't enjoy this morning.
Yeah, it was like trying to get you on another, let's not talk about that one deck. Let's steer away from that. Because I know you're just going to tell me welcome to flat Earth once I say that. So I'm not going to do that. I want you to talk about this.
I think that's a win when they don't even want to talk about it.
It's more than a win, right? I don't want to demean what you're doing with Dave McKeegan by saying the win's irrelevant. That's not what I mean. I mean, it represents something a lot bigger. It's not just that they know it's flat. It's that the tides, they are turning. I mentioned this a month ago, maybe a bit longer, when one of my customers on eBay got in touch and subtly started talking about a flat Earth when they weren't a flurf, they were just a normie. That happened again. Somebody went back, referenced my videos because they wanted to buy a mic, found their way to my eBay store, asked me a couple of questions, bought something, and after the purchase was complete and they were happy that they'd be getting their product, they're like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but words to the effect of, I find it really amusing how people dislike you being a flat earther. I mean, who cares? And my response was, yeah, it's not that serious. Earth's measured flat, so what? But this guy, although edging into the subject matter, was just a normie who'd gone, oh, look at that. People hate that this guy's a flat earther. What's wrong with them all? It's becoming normal. That's the point.
Yeah. So, Jen, you know what, Jen? You are right. Now, it's wrong for us to say we whistle past it, but they're whistling past it because this is what it means. Pretending to be cheerful, calm, or unafraid in a frightening or difficult situation, often to mask real fear, anxiety, or to ignore an obvious, unpleasant truth.
Yeah.
So they're whistling past it.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the point. What I was saying, Nathan. I was saying it's a win because when they want to evade answering the question or just change the subject or not want to get into it, that's the concession right there. Especially when they have a reputation of always being argumentative and going back and forth.
Listen to this. It gets better. It's about putting on a brave face and acting optimistic when facing something serious, like trying to ignore an impending problem or threat. Boy, does this fit Globus.
Yeah, that's what it is. Absolutely. What we represent isn't some idiot that they can mock and ridicule so that they can forget about it after mocking a group. There's a level of introspection on our opponent's side in the same pond as us. That's the Daves and the Simandans and the Professor Daves. Those people will be watching and will appreciate. It's not complicated, the Earth's measured flat, is it? But that represents for them something very different than it does from us. It represents the awful truth that they're wrong. And that is terrifying to them.
Yeah, you've been saying that for years. That's why I thought this freaking definition fits perfect. So they're whistling right past the measurements because this is what it means to them.
And keeps going on about these narcissists. I am sorry about this, but that's a narcissist trait. When something's highlighted to you and you've been exposed, it's the worst thing you can do to a narcissist. Worst thing.
Yeah, they put on a brave face.
They'll lie. They'll do anything to keep the illusion going. And that was, I think, that video. What was he called? I can't think of his name now, but you know what I mean. He didn't even mention the word narcissist, but I think that's what he was explaining.
Yeah, Alan Watts.
That's it. Yeah, because that's the behaviour of a narcissist, and the Globers have definitely got these traits where they can't confront these things. They're incapable of admitting they're wrong. Yeah, any empathy. They've got to be correct. They'll lie. They'll do anything to stay in control. It's all about their control. They'll do anything.
Listen to this key meaning. Displaying confidence to hide nervousness or fear. Nathan, you've been saying this for years. Here's another one. Ignoring a problem, denying or downplaying a serious issue, hoping it will go away. How many times have we heard flat earthers go away?
Yeah, that'd be me. That's what they wish of me, but I never go away at all. I'm still there.
Well, that was covered on today's video, wasn't it? What they actually, if we read between the lines, what are they? While I can pour scorn on them looking at the statistics because it's a category error, let's look at the deeper meaning. It's, are they still around? Are they still going to be here? Is the numbers going down? That's what it really means, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it, exactly. That is the exact sentiment right there.
Here's the final one. Trying to stay cheerful in a dire situation. Oh, boy.
It's like... it's like another one of Dave McKeegan, which you were trying to divert me. I'd mentioned 0 degree baseline sea level. And then his rebuttal to that, and see, the rebuttals don't even go to his make-believe mathematical globe. His rebuttals are, well, we've got tides on deck, so the level of the sea and he gave me some examples. He must have good. The level of the tide in Mexico is whatever it was, and then the tide level there. So he's still talking about level, right? Well, because I mentioned the 0 degree baseline constant horizontal. Well, it can't be. We've got one level in this area, one level in that area, and another level in that area. But he didn't once mention curvature.
I'll give you a perfect example. We keep pounding the measurements, and they're still talking about Mars and moon landings. That's whistling right past it. Because an example they give is, despite the mounting financial problems, the CEO kept talking about expansion. We hit them with flat Earth measurements, and they're talking about going to the moon and Mars and colonizing.
I don't think you can beat 0 degree baseline sea level. I mean, it's what's used.
Yeah, but we're going to the moon one day. We have a rover on Mars.
They'll never be able to do that because I'll always remind them of Stanley Kubrick. I'll always say July 16th, 1969 equals Stanley Kubrick's. Okay,
Yeah, that's
it.
part of the problem.
Yeah, that's it.
Just remind him you can't have gas pressure without containment. That ends out.
Yeah, I like to tease them a little bit first.
You like to play around with them a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Space is made up of length, width, and height as measured.
That's right.
Temperature in that.
Right.
Yeah. You can't argue with sea level, though. You can't, it's just, that's the base premise for all measurements on Earth.
Oh, what'd you say? Measurements? Hold on a second. We're going to the moon in about 4 years, and we've also colonized Mars. Now that is whistling past the graveyard.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're not talking about Mars on the moon. We don't care about that. What we're talking about is sea level and Earth, and how every elevation profile is measured from that 0 degree sea level. I mean,
from that horizontal constant.
Yeah, but I could be the baller. I could be the baller whistling past the graveyard, displaying confidence to hide nervousness or fear, and say, but we have a rover on Mars.
Does Mars exist in space?
I said we have a rover on there.
Does it exist in space?
No, we don't care. Anyway,
outer space.
Length, width, and height.
Did I tell you we're colonizing it?
Yeah. So, how did you? What do you think about sea level then, Paula?
Yeah, and besides that, there's galaxies that the human eye just can't pick up. But if you look at the Lucifer telescope, there's galaxies beyond your imagination. You can't even count them. Earth-like galaxies.
Yeah, well, Earth. Well, when you say Earth, how do we measure elevation profiles on Earth? Now you've brought it up.
Yeah, and when we get there, the air's still going to be the same.
Length, width, and height to get there, right? Because you're talking about space.
Did you see the blueprints of the cities that they have planned?
Length, width, and height are the blueprints, right?
And they could start. They could start with 100 people, and then they colonize from there.
Yes,
Sid,
John.
what's the elevation profile of Mars?
Not only Mars, Saturn is the next thing we're going to explore.
No, we're not.
Well, I'm whistling past it. I got a lot of confidence in what I'm saying.
Do you know you can measure an elevation angle to Mars from the flat?
No. And all those images are real. They're not CGI. They're real.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
You can see it from a telescope. I've seen them. It's real. And I don't want to hear nothing about that superimposed printout of whatever's in Canada, those lands. Those are all just conspiracy theories. Yeah, those are artist renditions.
Obviously, you haven't seen the ISS. My son pointed it out to me the other day. Right there, it looks just like what they show us.
And?
Neil, nothing to do with Earth, mate. Stop chatting shit.
I am just telling you what is obvious. Now, the obvious thing is these things will happen. Do you not have faith in mankind and our abilities?
I think we'd have already done it. But the point is to take your eyes off the ground and get your eyes gazing up at things that are around in the sky so that you can think that the ground you're standing on is round. Round and spherical are therefore associated synonymously in the mind's eye of the person being convinced that the ground is spherical because the lights in a two-dimensional manner, when they occasionally do, I will grant them, infer a certain type of sphericity, libration, orbital, as they call it, motions of the lights in the sky, but those don't have any bearing on the ground that you're walking on or how you'll describe things in a Euclidean frame, which is what John was trying to allude to. It's just everyone ignored him, which is why I was laughing, by the way, John. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, we weren't ignoring them. I was
That's
just
not true.
explaining.
That's
I
not
was
true.
just explaining what it means to whistle past the graveyard. These
Are we
things
gonna-
have me in fear, but I got a display of confidence.
And that's
Are we
not
going to allow
that's
this
not.
Glober to talk all this shit in here? Are we allowing this Glober in here? This piece
Well,
of
I
shit
mean,
Glober?
I'm
Neil
not
the
here.
Glober,
I'm
you
just
mean?
saying.
You mean Neil?
If you
I'm talking about this Glober.
if you're standing on the moon, if you're standing on the moon like they show Armstrong and them on the moon, the Earth looks the same way in the sky as when you're standing on the Earth and you're looking at the other planets floating in the sky. So,
But the moon footage
That has nothing-
is on a stage. So, people are normally unaware of things like backdrops until you point them out with a really obvious example, like in The Wizard of Oz. In the Technicolor film, when she's walking into Oz, the foreground is real and there's bricks, but the rest of the yellow brick road and the stuff in the far background is all painted onto a canvas backdrop. Now, but for the fact that most modern films are made that way, they're just done with a bit more sophisticated, I can't remember the exact technique, but when they paint it onto a glass panel, it was first used by Charlie Chaplin to make himself look like he's falling off the edge of a building when he's doing nothing of the sort. It's just got a painted panel that's glass in the frame of the camera. So like you can make a massive building without having to have anything more than 2 or 3 stories with a matte painting basically on a piece of glass that you mask the camera with. Well, these techniques were crap in the 60s. They were just painted canvas backdrops. So when you look at the moon landing footage, that is exactly what you've got. You know, the way they're faking it is with the technology that they had available to them of the day. And regardless of how technologically advanced NASA are by comparison to the film industry, right? Dilly Gill's point. If you know who Dilly Gill is a videographer on YouTube, and he pointed out that often Hollywood acquire their cinematography techniques and indeed sometimes lenses and other technology from NASA. What does that tell you? Well, NASA are on the cutting edge of what? Cinematography. That's where their expertise lies. But it doesn't alter that they, while on the cutting edge, were still limited by the time of the year. By that I mean, you know, the 60s, the 50s, not as in spring, summer, autumn, winter, but the time period that you're in will literally have limitations that you can't overcome, you know, technological or otherwise. Well, that technical limitation in the moon landing footage is really obvious to anybody with a minor discernment in either cinematography or just an interest in film. That is to say, if you are aware how they made Kubrick's style films, that's why Kubrick often gets associated with being one of the cinematographers. He may or may not have been, but he represents a director of the time when you say Kubrick made the moon landings. What does that really mean? Well, that's a distraction away from the fact that the moon landings footage is made using that time period cinematography techniques. So to say Kubrick did it is another distraction. It makes you focus on whether or not it was Kubrick rather than whether or not it's 1950s and 1960s cinematography techniques rather.
Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying that. We just couldn't get there at that time. So everybody knows that's why they made it a movie. At the time, we couldn't reach there.
Let Neil be in character, right? Neil knows this character, right? He's rehearsed it for 5 years by being around it. He's a method actor, you see.
We were not able to reach that at the time. We didn't have the technology, so we filmed it. Yes, nobody's denying that. But now we can get there.
Neil. No, but it's not that. Obviously, Nathan must have been through some childhood trauma or something. I mean, why would you lie?
No. I take offense because now you're spitting on the elderly ladies that just passed away from hidden numbers. Now, they wouldn't have made no movie about some African-American elderly women who worked hard through the civil rights movement and everything to make this blueprint in order for them to successfully. So I'm gonna disagree with you, Neil, on that.
Well, no,
we
well,
were there.
The woman
we
you're
were
talking
there,
about, right?
no, and they just
that particular
but not at the time.
Hold on a
they
second, hold on.
enhanced it. They
That's an
enhanced it with the
interesting one, right?
cinematography that Neil's talking about.
She's one of the people that you would say they wouldn't know any different because what they're involved in, she's alleged to have pointed out issues with the mathematics of the trajectory. And now in modern times, they're like, look at this pioneering black woman kicking ass and taking charge at NASA. You're like, well, it was inconsequential, no offense to her, because the journey isn't real. So her saying, look at the problem with these trajectory mathematics. You're like, if you know, which most of them probably didn't, you just pander to her, right? Oh, yeah, very serious stuff. You know what I mean? Because you know damn well you're not going out to a second law of thermodynamics violating sky vacuum. There is no journey to the moon. So you can pander to whatever you like. But now it's being used as like a race thing where, look at this, like I say, pioneering black woman in the face of these evil white NASA heads. You're like, what the fuck? Piss off.
Yeah, exactly, because they're trying to legitimize it by using that, and it's just a disgusting thing to do. Absolutely, yeah.
Well, she wouldn't know any different. She's not going to the surface. She's not travelling through the sky vacuum. She's not using the trajectory mathematics to take the journey. So highlighting issues in the mathematics, you're like, okay, well, what do you want? A pat on the back for spotting the maths? You're here on the ground. Where's the lie really taking place? She's not a liar. If she genuinely found issues with the trajectory mathematics, then good for her. But the real liars are the astronauts. They're the only ones you can point at. The Veach guy and all of the people who are alleged to be the first landers on the moon. They are liars. There's no other word to describe them. They know they didn't do what they said they did. That's a liar in no uncertain terms. Well, you know, being able to categorize any other person in NASA that way is unfair because she, I'm sure, was deadly serious about the problems that she perceived. And there's jokers out there that are like, it doesn't matter, they're not really going, so, you know, just pander to her. Well, that's bad because she probably had sleepless nights about the terrible tragedy that might befall people if the trajectories are wrong. Like, what, the trajectories of the journey to Narnia? If you know there's no real concern to have, then you know. She didn't, so she was probably, like I say, having sleepless nights, like our compadres on the other side of the flat earth pond when they worry about how many people are looking at the subject, are they going away, are the numbers going down? They're not the reason we've got the lie, and they aren't liars most of the time. When I say AsmonGold's telling the truth there, I mean, what I mean by that is he's actually appealing to an experience that he can verbalise in an efficient manner rather than talking shit. Now, that doesn't mean he's lying, it just means he's a shit talker.
Right. So when we come with measurements, and it's obvious, I mean, nobody can deny it. Even when one deck says Alberoni, all of these people, they started with measuring Earth flat. They hear these, ballers hear these things. So like trying to ignore an impending problem or threat as if walking past a graveyard at night and whistling to keep your courage up. So basically, everything that they say after we demonstrate measurements, this is what they are doing. You can't get around it.
Yeah, the graveyard is something that was... There was no dead globe. They've tried to create an apparition from nothing. So there was no body to have a corpse for. Metaphorically speaking, if we're going to talk in metaphors.
Right, but when somebody whistles past the graveyard, they're trying to have a courage walking past it at night.
Yeah,
you
it's still... I'm not saying
you
it
got
doesn't
this
apply.
phony courage.
It absolutely is applicable to all of the people that you're associating it with. You're saying, well, when Dave ignores the flat Earth measurements because he says, "Oh, you just want to welcome me to flat Earth," you're like, yeah, that's whistling past the graveyard. What you mean is, you know it's flat then, but you just don't want to say it because if I don't say it, it doesn't make it true.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But like I said, I was going to say something and I bloody forgot. Never mind.
That is quite immature of Quangles.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, that was
exactly.
it. I was going to get to the point, like skipping past the angle, whistling past the graveyard. I'm finding now, with the example I've given and Nathan's given, they're actually now they've got no qualm about saying, well, yeah, we are using the horizontal and level, but that doesn't mean so. They slowly. There's a change.
Sneaking it in. They're sneaking towards it slowly but surely. Sneaking towards it.
Yeah, I mean, it said to me just because it is a sextant and it's measuring elevation angles from sea level, or we're using a Lite or surveyors,
sea level.
Using. Yeah, sorry, mean sea level. That's all reference to the Earth. Yes, we do the horizontal level. Do you sea level, but that doesn't mean the Earth's level and horizontal. I mean, what are you talking about? That's where they are now.
Yeah, and that's really ridiculous. Because I'm never going to forgive them for that. I'm always going to whip them for that. How can you be level but not mean level? You mental.
Because they're whistling past the graveyard.
Of course they are.
The thing is, though, they've got no option now. They've slowly been put into the rock and the hard place.
Yeah.
They're slowly being tortured. Basically.
Look, their head is in the vice and I'm turning the handle. Okay.
Well, they mean that they're saying is locally level, of course. But as you go further and further, you gradually go to a curve and you just don't realize it until you stop and it's leveled again. And you travel another 100 yards, you don't realize that you're going over a curve. Then you stop. You measure another level.
That's the point. Dave's being asked for the measurements. So what? Presumably, if that's the discussion that's being had, I can only assume it is. At the end of that, you've got compadre here saying, well, give us the measurements then.
Yeah.
And then I'll answer geodetic surveying.
Surveying?
Yeah. But you can get into geodetic surveying is well, you've only got surveying. You just survey.
Well, you've got plain surveying as well, remember? You've got plain surveying. Surveying.
That's just surveying.
Isn't surveying measuring, though?
Yeah,
yes,
but there's just surveying. Right? When you're like, oh, well, there's geodetic surveying, planar. No, it's just surveying.
Hold on. Didn't you hear the video the other day? The guy said spherical distances.
You mean AI?
That guy that Tent is friends with. The AI said spherical distances. But Glober, anybody can look into the WGS84 bloody spheroid bloody model. It tells you it's mathematical. It tells you, just like Alberuni and Eratosthenes tells you they're measuring Earth flat. They also tell you this WGS84 accepted mathematical model. They'll tell you it's a mathematical model. It's just something that that's been accepted, and that's what's being used. We're going to measure Earth flat, and then do some mathematics. Yeah, and then put it on a curve. So as long as you're prepared to realise that you're just living in a mathematical world, that's fine.
Yeah. Good luck.
And math is reality.
Material world.
No, it is reality, because if you give Annie 17 cookies and then take 24 from her, you know how many she's going to have.
Yeah, Neil, that's a good one, D-Rose. But what's multiplication? Multiplication, Neil. If you multiply something, what should it do?
Oh, multiplication doubles it.
Yeah. So what's 1 times 1?
1 times 1 is it's a trick question. It's 1.
So it's not multiplying then, or increasing?
No, but that's only one equation. We have thousands of equations. Math is reality. You could say I can't have negative 5 apples. Yes, you can. I just owe you 5 apples.
Yeah, but we're all at good points for this now. But it's important we just stick with the measurements like we are doing, not drift off into cuckoo land.
Exactly.
Because that's where they want to drag you into cuckoo land. You don't want to go there.
They want to say that black lady's maths got them to the moon, and that lady's getting the awards for it. But no,
there's no denying. There's no denying that sea level is used for elevation profiles, for all
Absolutely.
elevation profiles on Earth. It's not. I didn't make that up. You didn't,
No,
Nathan.
it's antecedent, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
all I'm saying
so,
is
I
we
mean-
can't. All I'm saying is we can no longer say that for years we whistled right past the flat Earth measurements because we were not in any fear of anything, right? So we didn't
That's
whistle
right.
past it. We just didn't notice it because we were looking. We would train to look for the curvature. In the process of looking for the curvature, we missed all the flat Earth measurements.
Right. Well, don't miss this point that Stanley Kubrick made. That's the title of the film, Eyes Wide Shut. It expressing exactly what you're talking about. Eyes wide shut. That was the meaning of the film. Okay? It's all happening around us and we're missing.
It's like what Senf was saying, and we've all said it. I mean, I've given my. I didn't know the Earth was flat when I first believed the Earth was flat. I didn't know that. I just something within me said, I'm not living on a globe.
I knew it was flat.
So
I knew it was flat when I found out.
Yeah.
It didn't take long. I realized my error instantly because all my experiences had taught me that. Yeah, I did.
I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't have a measurement at that time. I was thinking about constellations never changing in the sky for thousands or hundreds, thousands of years, and that's where I was. And the sun is definitely moving. I can see that. So I had no measurements, but something deep down in my heart told me, you know this. So then I had to pursue the truth.
Something inside so strong,
and there was a. I had to pursue the truth. And then I found truth. I found the measurement now. You know what I mean? Found the measurement.
Yeah, I didn't know where it was flat until the measurements. That's when we actually knew it was flat.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of experiences all through my life, and that's why I came to that conclusion at an instant.
I have a question. All I need is a yes or no. I don't need any, elaborative answer to go on. Just yes or no.
Well, I'll decide that.
Can you or can you not measure something spherical?
You can measure something.
Thank you. That's all I want to know.
Yeah. What's that have to do with what we're talking about, though? Measuring an object on the surface of Earth is different than measuring the surface of Earth. So we can't
Correct.
when we talk about this subject.
But you can measure something. You can measure the circumference of something, yeah?
Yeah, of course you can. And you're going to need a horizontal baseline and a very horizontal table.
Well, then why can't they measure the sphericity of the Earth? If they can measure something spherical, the circumference.
Hold on, we do.
Because it's not. Hang on, no, because it's not spherical. Otherwise, there would have been a method to measure the sphericity of it.
No, we do measure it, and it's not spherical. It's flat.
Right.
Yeah.
We would measure curvature if it was a sphere. We don't.
Exactly.
Correct.
There'd be curvature measuring tools. There'd be curving measuring tools. You wouldn't be using a elevation angle measuring tool, or because that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? There'd be
You're not listening to D. Rose. This is what people are saying. They can measure a basketball. That's measuring spherical.
Exactly. I can measure ping pong, basketball.
Yeah, but what John just said, you can measure an object, the sphericity of an object, but you cannot measure the Earth spherical. You only measure it flat.
But did they explain how they measure it, Neil? Eratosthenes measured elevation angles.
No, but that's flat.
Yeah,
You're making my point.
And then he did some mathematics, like John did in his kitchen. Math is the one.
Did that make my kitchen a sphere?
Negative.
Only in the math.
Not even in the math.
No, I improperly applied mathematical formula. I did it wrong. I didn't do math. I done a perversion of mathematics.
Pseudo math.
Listen, what John is saying. We have to get this out there. This is exactly correct what Refracted is saying. Say it again, John.
Well, when we know better, just look them in the eye and say, we're going to do it anyway.
Now, this is important. This is important that people know that you're breaking principles when you say only in the math.
Yeah, it's not mathematics what you're doing. What you're doing is a perversion of mathematics. You're doing something that wasn't meant to be done with mathematics. You're contradicting measurement, which makes your mathematics invalid, which makes it not mathematics, which it's crazy at that point.
Right, so let's get it straight then. So Eratosthenes' example, we know what he did. 2 points. There's a couple of presumptions in there. One's the parallel light rays, but he's got a distance, which is a linear distance across the surface of Earth. Straight away, there you go. And then he's got an elevation angle of 7.2 degrees, which is two straight lines. So you could end it there. Then what he did some multiplication and division, and presupposed that the Earth was a globe of 360 degrees. So is that not math? Then is that what we're saying?
That's what makes it the perversion, the presupposed sphericity.
Once he's got his 7.2 degree angle, his 500 stadia, and his 360 degrees presupposed globe, then he times that by that and divides that by that and gets a circumference. Is that not mathematics? Is that what we're saying?
No, he's answering you.
He used planar measurements to create the circumference of a sphere. You can't do that. You can't measure a 2x4 and tell you how spherical that 2x4 is.
Correct.
Yep, I'm with you. I know that. Fully aware of that. But the 500 stadia is you've got number 500, you've got number 7.2, and you've got number 360. And now you're going to do some multiplication and division. Is that not maths?
Yes. But John's saying that if you take the stadia as a unit value, then that's flat. You can't violate that.
I agree. Yep. No, you can't violate that. That's what I said in the beginning. It's over as soon as you mention that linear distance. It's over as soon as you mention the 7.2 degree angle.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no need for any conversion.
Exactly, D. Rose. No need for a conversion.
Yeah, that's correct. I like that. There's no need for the conversion because you've already measured it.
We have a try. Conversion, try. Forget it.
No, I have no desire to try.
That was a little bit of a rugby terminology there. Look. Very good.
I remember when I first got into this subject, I thought there was contradicting measurements. I thought there was the planar measurements and the measurements of curvature. And because of that ambiguity that was formed, people built upon that and come up with the concept of a globe.
Right, but there's just measurements, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a bit like we were saying earlier with surveying. It's like, what do you mean planar surveying? It's just surveying. It's the same. It doesn't matter what you're describing after the fact. What you're doing, measuring, is just measuring. It's just surveying. Yeah. It's not like a particular type, that the only reason for that to have a terminology existing is to do what John's just described, create an ambiguity. Like there's a different type of surveying. No, there's just surveying.
Right. So when Jem says geodetic surveying, there is no such animal. It's just surveying, which is measuring, and we measure Earth flat.
That's right. That's all that's going on. Yeah, it's all been a lie all along to keep everyone thinking they're on a globe by doing that. You see, that's what they do when they lie.
So in Jem's mind, then, I mean, I've not spoken to the guy, but when them words come out of his mouth as his like safety net, oh well, geodetic surveying. What is going through his mind at that point that is being measured? What curvature is being measured, and how? What do you think he means by that?
Something inside.
He thinks they're measuring a globe.
Ooh.
There must be something in his mind that he thinks he's got some sort of backup to that.
Yeah,
well,
like hold on.
So it's obviously
right, like Nathan said, global positioning. It's not GP is not global positioning. It's geographical positioning. So geodetic surveying, same thing. Globe, therefore glob.
we've been through the videos, haven't we? We've been through the guy. We've been through the triangulation. We've been through the surveyors. We even went through the GPS, and now that's in a 2D Cartesian coordinate system.
Correct. If everybody would just seriously look into the measurements and how we measure, there would not be a globe on Earth.
Just because you're measuring angles, Neil, doesn't mean it's curved.
Right, just right there. People would realize you can't have an angle on a sphere.
Yeah, just
So,
because
like I
you're
said-
measuring angles from a flat Earth doesn't mean the Earth's flat.
Yeah, if they would seriously look into measurements, there would not be a globe.
Yeah.
You just
Rock and
need a
hard
point
place.
to measure from, right?
Yeah, just need a point. Sea level's a point. It's not level. It's a point from the centre of the globe.
No, points
It's
aren't
just a
levels.
point.
To be level anything, you can have more than one point to describe it as level. Oh, it's just a point. Well, then it's not a level, because you can't describe level or any planar aspect from a single point. You know, just for a line, you need two of them joining. Meaning there's lots of them, infinite amount of them along the line. So no, single point, no, definitely not.
Yeah, we have eye point and surface point. And
Oh, yes,
Elder
an
Bear cleared
elevation
this up
point.
for us months ago.
Of course, silly me. No, when
Yeah, and if you put a
describing-
load of like pins in it, if you put a load of pins in a tangerine, round a tangerine, and measure the height from the point, all them, the top of the pins will all be level.
Oh, shoot.
Stop chatting shit one day.
Or was it how you could? I can't remember.
Did you hear the way he reprimanded me? Stop chatting shit, Neil.
Well, you want to be a baller, expect to be talked to like one. What do you want?
That's how I'll end up talking. I mean, I'll just give you a bit of leeway, but that's how I would be talking to him. Stop talking shite.
The thing is, when Neil
You know what
does
you're
that,
talking about.
when Neil behaves that way, right, number one, I'm absolutely not joking when I say he's done it as a method actor, right? He's been around these people so much that you can emulate them perfectly. So when he has these responses, well, we couldn't go to the moon back then. I mean, they had to fake it in the 60s. Doesn't mean we can't go, they like, cope. That's all you want to say to them. But Neil's mirroring that, right, in a parody format. Now imagine the person who is that person listening to Neil do that, right? How would that feel? How would that taste?
Yeah, the original was Arwen, wasn't it, with Boring?
Yeah, you got it. Arwen used to do it. Exactly. How did that
I'm going to
taste?
stop doing it.
Right, no, you do it perfectly, right? You're emulating them.
Don't get like that.
When you do that, Neil, you're holding a mirror up to them. And that mirror, nobody likes what they see. Now, we did this 3 weeks ago, and I'm talking about monsters in the closet, But I know them. That's the same principle, right? Looking in a mirror, seeing the monsters in your closet. That reflection, it burns. Now, once you can cope with your own, just about, your own reflection's bearable. In this contextualization of this discussion, right? When you know that, you're very effective at holding it up to someone else, right? Next man's fears and concerns, they're internalized because people are selfish creatures, right? We're obsessed with one thing, ourselves. Well, that's a survival thing, right? You don't want to die. Your brain's telling you all the time, don't die, don't die. Careful, you might get run over by that. Careful, careful. Right, that's what your brain's doing. So you're internalizing most of the time. So it's not weird to say that people are selfish and, they're constantly concerned about what will happen to them as a result of something. But when you know that in this subject, you described it earlier when you were describing the definition of whistling past the graveyard, right? Whistle, just ignore the question about where the globe measurements are, and it will go away.
Yeah, exactly.
It was brilliant.
I think Neil is still a glober deep down.
No, he's not. That's what we're saying to them, right? When we say the antithesis to them, deep down, it's flat, don't you? Now, we used to say it without really being able to put any venom behind it, like any venom of truth behind it. Like we'd say, it's flat, really, don't you? Well, that was almost like a projection on my part to my opponent when I said those things, because I didn't really know it was flat. I believed it was flat. Now, I'd got an underlying conscious understanding in my own physiology and balls to bones, knew it was flat. That's what I told myself. But now, there's no contesting it. It doesn't matter if I know anymore. It becomes inconsistent. It's moot if I know it's flat. It's measured flat. Who cares if Nathan Oakley knows? Does it matter? Well, but most people can't see it in that way. To them, the fact that they believe it's a ball and the deep down knowing that, well, if you get me to say I've got a globe measurement that's actually from a plane, then you'll just say welcome to flat Earth. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. It's like, what's this got to do with one deck? It's everything to do with McKeegan needing cope. Trying to whistle past the graveyard.
Exactly. Well put.
So was it, can you honestly say, at what point did you actually know, without any doubt, 100% that the Earth was measured flat?
Measurements.
I mean,
yeah, measurements.
But I'm asking Nathan because, I mean, was it celestial navigation?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Or was it before?
During 10th man's
celestial
presentation,
navigation for the
that's
most
when
part.
the penny dropped, when the GP was beyond the horizon.
Yeah, but those are measurements.
Yes,
we didn't say
exactly.
measurements at the time. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're spot. I'm agreeing with all of you. Exactly. Knowing that the GP was potentially tens of thousands of miles away, right? You're like, that's how it's measured. You're like, shit. But from that point forward, it's like any measurement I'd celebrate in the same way. So the most recent was the pitch data. You're like, yeah, that's a measurement. It's just any measurement that's got Earth as part of it is flat. So each time a new one comes up, prior to that it was seismology, and you could just go back down the line. But each and every time you reference anything that's got anything to do with measuring Earth, it's always flat.
Yeah, once you comprehend measurement, that's when you know for sure and without a doubt that Earth is flat.
Yeah. Now, maybe Dave Weiss knows this now, but even back then when he was being criticised, maybe we were covering measurements back then when he was in front of Jesse Lee Peterson. Maybe we were covering it, maybe we weren't. I'm sure we'd covered celestial navigation by then, but my point is, Dave being a bit behind the curve in this regard is forgivable and understandable when he, in all honesty, couldn't say, I know for sure and without a doubt Earth is flat, because he didn't have that concrete empiricism that we have in the measurements behind him, which has left him woefully looking ignorant when he's challenged by Jesse Lee Peterson. Now he's got his excuses lined up. Well, his excuse was the next question was going to be about the topology of the land moving up and down, therefore not flat, and I didn't have an answer for that. And you're like, well, we would. The reference would have been horizontal. Describe how deviating it was from the horizontal plane of reference at sea level, which is also measured flat. In other words, we'd have just barraged the questioner with examples where, if it was to be the case that Dave said, yes, I know for sure and without a doubt it's flat, Well, what about the hills and valleys? Well, how about their height being referenced to sea level in all of the measurements that were ever made of them ever? You need a flat plane, you need a sea level, you need an average measurement of the planar surface as an average to describe how high or low the hills and valleys actually are. In other words, in your face, dickhead, Earth's measured flat.
Right, well, but we said that. We said if he would have been hanging around us, then he would have known. He would have known about the measurements, and he would have known how to answer that question very easily.
Yeah, Dave picked his friends badly. Dave picked his friends badly. He had Jaron and Whitsitt on his boat with these huge piles of flat Earth money that he seems to be managing to make from the subject while I struggle. Well, more power to him. He's obviously better at doing that than I am, earning money. But in terms of his friends that he picked badly. He picked a bullshitter Whitsitt who goes on about Ethereum nonsense and describes how Earth is or isn't turning, answering a non-positive claim that we shouldn't have to be addressing. It's like, their burden is to prove we spin. I don't have a burden in this. Why is it incumbent on Whitsitt to start talking about how Earth isn't spinning? It's sad. Crappy company. And his other bud, Jaron, well, need I say more? The Jesuit turncoat, bouncing off the ball onto a flat plane to talk about how NASA are faking stuff endlessly, and then bouncing back on it because of an experiment after calling me a science scammer. Like, that's the company you keep.
Well, you know, if he would have kept the proper company, I think he would have made more money.
Maybe. I mean, it's not all about money. I mean, I realise Dave's Jewish, but let's not harbour that stereotype too much.
No, but I'm saying he would have had facts to pull from and not fantasy. So whatever people he accumulated up until that point, if he would have just been rolling with us, I think he would have made a ton more money.
Yeah, but Neil, it put an end to his ice wall and the zodiac clock and all that. Right?
Yeah, but you don't need any of that. That's what I'm saying.
So it's gonna it'll put an end to his mission or whatever he's doing or his money making.
Yeah, he'll end up taking as much out as he puts new in.
No. The problem with Dave, in my humble opinion, is Dave represents that guy that I say has been furrowed down a narrow path towards flat Earth. What do you need flat Earth to be? About the people, the statistics, the searches, all people-based, right? What they covered on AsmonGold today. Well, what does Dave represent? He's that conspiratard that's talking about 9/11. He's talking about going deeper inside the rabbit hole. That's what DITRH stood for. Deep inside the rabbit hole. He represents your average rank and file conspiratard that learns all about 9/11 and then comes to flat Earth and has very little to say about it because they don't know anything. So what do they fall back on? Conspiracies. And then you get everyone describing your average flat earther as being a conspiratard. Dave is that. That is what Dave is.
They did it perfectly then. Then we're absolutely right then. So they set it up that way. So this can be a conspiracy. Well done. You got to tip your hat to them. They set it up beautifully.
Yeah, he's part of it, definitely. I mean, he can't just, if he spoke to Nathan, he must listen to the show, or, well, you've got evidence of that, I think. He must know what we're talking about here. Not just us, the surveyors, people who are, measuring elevation profiles from sea level. I mean, once you get to that, the basics of it, it's just basic. There's no complication to it at all. Earth's measured flat.
Yeah, and you'd think our representative over there, Angels of Voice, would be telling them, but the last video we saw them together, clearly not.
You would think, right?
Angels of Voice.
Well, why not?
All you need is level.
Bum, ba, 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 bum.
I still think he would have made more money. He could have came clean and said, look, this app, garbage. I just came across information that's going to blow your mind. Earth is measured flat. Boom, and then lay it all out.
The thing is, Neil, he must have already realised this with the map. Nathan and all them guys debunked that bloody map years ago, wasn't it, with when you did that. And he knows that. And he's still kept the bleeding map with the circling sun and moon above it. And he's still doing it. He must be thinking now.
Yeah, because it's too late now.
He's living a lie then.
Yeah, it's way too late now. He would have got right on board when Nathan confronted him. He could have freaking, I'm telling you, what's the best policy? Honesty. He could have honestly said, throw that freaking Zodiac shit in the garbage. Look what I got right now. And start breaking down measurements from beginning to end. Everything we do, celestial navigation, flight, pitch data, surveying, everything.
Yeah.
His fans would have been there, and they would have been freaking right on board with him.
Yeah, but I said it the other week. He must know, because why did he promote his 3 Bitcoin to Nathan and the panel at the time? Because he knew.
Yeah, but hold on. That Bitcoin was protected way before we had measurements. Nathan was just a master at beating these globers.
Yeah, so he knows that. So he knows Nathan and the crew at the time was the masters of beating the globers. So he must still realize and know that.
No, that's what Nathan's saying. The friends he chose led him the wrong way. He chose Witsit and Jaron instead of getting on board with us.
We don't know who these people are. He might have just been seed planted from day one anyway, and we're all thinking, well, Dave's gone. He might be just part of that crap anyway.
That's true. We don't know who anybody is. I'll agree with you on that.
That's my point. It doesn't mean he's nefarious or paid shill. What it means is he's a conspiracy guy. So you ask Dave about Sandy Hook or 9/11. He knows it inside out and back to front. I'm not going to in any way pour scorn on that. It's just not flat Earth. Now, if you can have people who are au fait in a specific conspiracy come to this subject, this is Neil's point, right? All roads from conspiracy lead to flat Earth. Well, they do, but Dave just typifies that. So, as a thing, he wants flat Earth to be a conspiracy.
Yeah, and for me, when he said measurement on that one interview where they asked him if they knew for sure that if Earth was flat, and he said it could be a bigger ball. Before that, he said in a very meek voice, well, it's measured that way. So meek and pathetic.
Because he didn't know for sure and without a doubt.
The host didn't hear it. Sorry.
Yeah, he didn't have the confidence to know that was true. So he didn't know for sure and without a doubt. Jesse's phraseology was perfect.
Yeah. At the point, he would be drilling home about sea level, elevation angles, the 0 degree baseline, everything we took. He would have just drilled straight into that and said, yes, this is how Earth's measured. And I'm telling you how it's measured. And you cannot dispute this. It's level. It's 0 degree baseline. Every elevation profile on Earth, this is how it's measured. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, you've got to go in with some you'd be confident about this.
Right, but what does Dave goes in with confidence.
So Jesse Lee Peterson would have said, what about hills and valleys and mountains?
Yeah, so what? We'd have said reference to a flat plane, sea level.
Thank you.
The point is with Jesse Lee Peterson addressing Dave, Dave wants to get to his crescendo, which is who's they? A hiding God. That's Dave's crescendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got that hiding God thing, to be honest. I never got that.
I mean, I've never been into it really from a Bible perspective. No disrespect to the Bible, Neil, or anybody in it. Not that, but I never try and bring that into it. I have done in the past, but it's purely measurements now. I mean, that's all it can be. Can't be anything else but a measurement.
I call that not hiding God, contradicting God, maybe, because the whole heliocentric nonsense that we deal with daily is a total contradiction of Genesis. When you read Genesis, how it's made, everything in Genesis, heliocentric has it opposite. So I'd say it's a contradiction of God, but I don't consider it a hiding God.
I mean, that's why I don't get into it, because at the end of the day, everybody on this earth uses sea level for the baseline measurement of everything. And it's level. There's no getting away from it. It's a fact.
Yeah, and if you read Job 38, you read Habakkuk, you read a lot of different Psalms, they all talk about how the line has gone out through all the earth, how he measured the earth. Right there in the Bible. Talks about measurements. If nobody watched Fisherman in the Box from Saturday, watch his video from Saturday.
Is sea level used for all elevation profiles on Earth? Yes, it is. End of story.
He actually brings you up, Nathan. He goes, thanks to Nathan and the boys. It's measured that way.
Well, when the Black Swan come out, it destroyed the idea that there was another measurement for me. And I couldn't articulate that to other people, why it was so relevant to me. I can now. But I mean, people really don't care. They're just understanding.
I'm not against the Black Swan in any way because of the QE and the book situation, but because I've developed myself and what we're talking about, I could talk to somebody about the Black Swan and about the distance to the horizon, which has never been defined as a physical location. I could do that, but then I think to myself, why am I getting myself into a conversation about something that isn't measurable and it's just an apparent?
Well, the Black Swan gives a distance, doesn't it, to the apparent horizon, which is fine. It helps them see that linear distance and where the curvature is not there. It's all flat, major flat.
Yeah, well, yes, that's true. Hold on, before we all whistle past what John said. John's trying to point out that there's an ambiguity in terms of there being two different types of measurement, like a global measurement and a flat measurement. Well, there isn't. Yeah. It's just measurement. And he's saying that the Black Swan highlighted that for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I was saying was the Black Swan at the time was great, but like was a bloody stupid science guy. Well, it only debunks the radius. It gives you a different radius. So it's nothing to do with it's not a measurement, but it is in a way because you've got a distance to the rings, which is a linear distance across sea level. But the moment you start arguing the horizon should be, you're in a category area there, I think, because distance to the horizon, because it's never been defined, it's not a physical location.
What is the horizon? You're breaking up a little bit one day.
Where boats disappear, mate.
Yeah, but the horizon is not physical, not tangible. You can't get there. So how could there be a measurement to it?
That's his point.
It's not. That's my point.
I understand.
Yeah. So at the time, yeah, we jumped on it. It was great, and it probably served a purpose at the time. But now, unless you're trying to explain to somebody, all you need to know is that we've got sea level. It's level. And Earth is measured from a level 0 degree baseline. Why go into an argument about the location of something called the horizon, which isn't a physical location? You're going into a fantasy land.
Okay, so the difference is you're demonstrating that Earth is flat, and the other thing is debunking the globe.
Yeah, that's right. And the horizon is always shifting. That's another phenomenon, isn't it?
No, it's debunking a radius value.
That's what the Black Swan does.
Because there is no globe. But people think there's a globe. So the Black Swan debunks it.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's debunking the radius of 3959.
Which is debunking the globe. If it's debunking the radius, it's debunking the globe. That's it. That's what's going on.
No, it's debunking the radius value.
Of the globe, isn't it? Of the supposed globe, because we're seeing beyond what the curvature should. What the geometrical horizon of a globe of the specification we're given. We're seeing well beyond that. Well beyond that.
It's not.
Goodbye,
it's
globe.
not flat Earth. It's not flat Earth proof.
Well, it's not curving.
That's what I said. It's not
It's
flat
linear.
Earth proof. That debunks the globe. What you described is flat Earth proof.
Well, you can extract like anything that's got measurements in it, a flat Earth prerequisite measurements.
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah, that's right. It's measurement of flat Earth. I use it as that.
So regardless that there is no physical horizon to measure a distance to, measurement of distance is flat and linear.
Thank you. That's exactly it. And that's what I use it for. Measurement of distance. And that's debunking the globe.
But
no, that's
subtly one deck is trying to undermine the Black Swan because he's saying, what does it do? Well, the original question is, if Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then... So your if statement is the bit that you're debunking in the logical consistency. Well, the if statement is that Earth's got a certain radius, spherically.
Yeah, that's my point. The original, that original statement of how we would present that if the Earth was a globe with a radius of 395. Yeah, it's okay. I agree now. Yeah, we can use the distance to the rigs. It's a linear distance. That's a different. That wasn't the case then. It isn't. You can turn it that now, but we didn't then.
For me, I did
So
both
did
then. Back then, I did both. I used it as both back then. I used it as a globe killer, as in the curvature, and also it's flat Earth proof because of that distance. All that flat Earth, all that water, it's level. There's no curvature there.
That's water being flat. That's not the measurement in distance being linear. Anyway, I'm going to round out. With that, another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If Earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.
The higher you build your barrier,